Alrighty folks, hello there. This is Alan recording another comprehensive Magic of the Gathering Arena Draft video. So, this is my part 3 video for my Mythic Climb to Limited. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to record the videos starting from, Diamond Tier 3 all the way until now. I was really feeling tired and I was commentating throughout the videos, but I was about to just fall asleep since I didn't even sleep throughout the climb. I had a long shift, and basically I just started recording and playing afterwards, and I was most of the time just mumbling and just giving bad commentary and almost fell asleep. So we're just going to start from Diamond Tier 1 for now, and then we're just going to try to climb up to Mythic Tier 1, Mythic Top 10 as I've stated. So let's fire off another Premier Draft Strixhaven, and hopefully we can draft something really spicy. Overall, I really like this format a lot. It's definitely grown over me. Definitely going to be one of the drafts I would like to revisit in the future. And even though I think some of the guilds, the colleges are slightly worse, like Witterbloom or Lorehold, they're still pretty strong if it comes together. So I think it's a reasonably balanced format, with a couple of, archetypes that are, slightly higher in power level, but not necessarily, like, incredibly busted. So pack one, pick one. A rare, pretty good card. I do love to play this in a Prismari deck, or in a Lorehold deck with lots of removal and interaction. So Radiant Scroll Wielder is definitely a powerful first pick. Looking at the commons, we're looking at Heated Debate and Rise of Exodus and Inkling Summoning as excellent commons. At the uncommon slots, they're all pretty solid. Clever Luminmancer and Expressive Iteration has to fall into specific decks, and they're not necessarily the most open colors. So I think, and they do require more work to go around. This one's being blue-red. This wants to have a million guiding voices, but I think we'll just take Radiant Scroll Wielder. This should be a pretty powerful card to first pick. Obviously, it does fit in a specific archetype as well, but it can be an insane bomb if it doesn't get answered. And we'll take over Heated Debate and Rise of Exodus. Between Rise of Exodus and Heated Debate, I would probably take Heated Debate. Even though it doesn't learn, just having cheap, efficient interaction at instant speed is quite nice. Okay, after first picking Radiant Scroll Wielder, Shock is a nice follow-up. Other great cards in this pack include Quandrix Cultivator, Field Trip, and Environmental Sciences. Frost Trickster has gone down in value for me. It's just because blue is not a very aggressive color in this set, and it tends to be more controlling, whereas the ability of Frost Trickster, still fine in the defensive deck, but there's just too many large creatures that this can't really trade efficiently into. It just ends up tapping it down for one turn and then chumping, so it's really not that impressive in this format. As much as I like Environmental Sciences with the Radiant Scroll Wielder to maybe end up going 3 colors, I think Shock is just too powerful to pass up. And then hopefully we can pick up fixing in the form of maybe like an Archway Commons, a Campus Guide, or something else later. But Shock seems like a great follow-up to Radiant Scroll Wielder, and we're definitely going to be drafting either, again, a Mardu control deck, a Lorehold deck with tons of instances and sorceries, or splashes in the Prismari deck, where this is mostly going to shine. Okay, any good cards here? There's a Mage Duel, which is the best card in this pack. Anything that goes well with our first pick and our second pick? Not really. I guess there's a Prismari Campus here, but it's definitely a lot worse than something like Mage Duel. There's an Introduction to Annihilation, which is a fine lesson, but it's not a necessary lesson. It's kind of like a fail-safe in case you don't have a lot of removals in your deck, and you can sometimes just learn this to deal with a threatening creature. So overall, if we want to take something that's on color or fits into the specific archetype, playing Radiant Scroll Wielder for this pack, there's nothing incredible. So I might just take the Mage Duel and maybe lean towards green a bit. And I don't mind abandoning my first 2 picks if it isn't open, which, I've actually done before in a draft, and, I've actually had successful drafts doing this. So we'll just take Mage Duel for now, and hoping we can make something happen here. Pretty late Burying Books, excellent common, one of the best commons in this set. I would definitely take Heated Debate over Burying Books, pack one, pick one, but Burying Books is quite close in power level to, say, something like Rise of Exodus as well. All 3 of them are very close, but I would still take Heated Debate. But some people will lean towards Burying Books since they consider blue the best color in this set. Overall, nothing too exciting. There's like a Quandrix Campus. If we do end up in some sort of Prismari deck splashing green, we could make use of this Mage Duel. or we can end up going some sort of 4 colors. But right now, Burying Books is a good sign. We should be maybe in Prismari, splashing white or green. We'll see. And we'll take a second Burying Books. Excellent. There's also Field Trip, which is great. So it's a sign that maybe Quandrix is open. But for sure, we know, since we took our first Burying Books, I just want to lean towards blue for now. And again, we can still end up in Prismari. Witterbloom Pledge Mage has also been a bit of an overperformer. Not by much, but definitely a very strong body that you can play in any green or black deck. Definitely better, of course, than Witterbloom, but still pretty decent in Quandrix as a good blocker, incremental way to gain life. And I think in Silverquill, this is going to be at its worst, but it's still really solid. Since you rather just have flowers in Silverquill, Guiding Voice is also an excellent common pretty late, so sign that the white aggressive deck is open, but we'll just take a Burying Books. Okay, maybe we do end up in Prismari. There's a Practical Research and Serpentine Curve in the same pack. Expanded Anatomy is good, but it's better off in an aggressive white deck. Between Serpentine Curve and Practical Research, as much as I like Practical Research, I think it's very important to pick up Serpentine Curves if we do end up in Prismari. I'm not sure if I know how to pronounce this, Serpentine Curve or Serpentine Curve, don't know. But I think it's a very important common to have in these heavy Instances Sorceries decks, since, you know, it just gives us a nice creature, which we currently don't have right now outside of a Radiant Scroll Wielder. We're not even sure if we're going to end up splashing. So I think it's important to take Serpentine Curve, and hopefully we can wield more card advantage like Practical Research. But I think this is a very important common to have in the Prismari decks. So I'll take it here. And even in Quandrix, it can be pretty excellent, okay? And that is a late Simone. So maybe we can just end up abandoning Radiant Scroll Wielder and Shock and end up in Quandrix, since it does seem like a lot of blue and green is open, since we're seeing the Witterbloom Pledge Mage pretty late. There's also Archway commons, but we're not taking over Simone. This is just a powerful payoff for being in Quandrix. Once you get to 8 lands, you can just draw a bunch of cards and just outvalue the opponent and win the game. And then the 1-mana ability is also nice, since you can play this early and allow you to ramp. Zimone's quite good. There's people who have commented on Zimone not being as great as it is, and I can definitely see the point, since it's not really good at blocking effectively. But I still think it can be a powerful value card if you can get to the late game, so I think it's fine. And then we could take a Campus. The Prismari cards aren't amazing. There's like a Grinning Ignis, which I'm not even a big fan of, since we're not trying to combo off. Thrill is very medium. There's Enthusiastic Study. I guess there's also the Lorehold Campus that we could take here that could allow us to splash for the Radiant Scroll Wielder if we do end up in Prismari, but it seems like Quandrix is more open, and I'd rather just take the Quandrix Campus. Seeing this late is a good sign that we should just be in Quandrix and abandon our first 2 picks. As much as I love Radiant Scroll Wielder, I think it's still the Campus here. And had we taken a Heated Bait, I guess we could have still splashed this and end up in Teamer. We'll take a big play, not sure if I'll end up playing it, but could be a reasonable combat trick, especially against Flyers. And then we could just take, I guess, I don't mind Explosive Welcome as a nice red spell to splash into, since a lot of these top-end red cards are just plays really nice with Quandrix, since Quandrix is trying to play lots of lands and ramp. You can sometimes just splash a bit of red in it and play nice late-game spells like Explosive Welcome, Elemental Masterpiece, etc. So I'll take it here over Archway Commons. Maybe we can end up in some sort of Teamer deck. None of these are great. I'll take a Reject. Been seeing people main deck this. I don't know if it's correct, but sometimes it does get something and it can be fine, but it's not like a game-breaking counterspell. And then in the late game, usually they should have enough mana to pay for it, especially in Quandrix. We'll take a Tanglewood Trap. Definitely not better in the best out of 3 scenario. Pretty late Pilgrimage Ages. This is a good white common. I think this is the 3rd best white common behind Guiding Voice and the Combat Professor, since it's just really good in both in any white deck. Here, it just doesn't matter. Okay, it seems like we want to be in Quandrix, seeing the late Zimone and then in the Mage Duel. Overall, it didn't seem like red was too open. We saw a bit more white, but I still think we want to stick with this position here. And then this is a pretty interesting pack. We have a choice between Quandrix Apprentice, Quandrix Pledge Mage, and the Environmental Sciences, which is a great lesson. In between these two, we could just take the Quandrix Apprentice. I think it could just be better than the Quandrix Pledge Mage. Quandrix Pledge Mage can still give us some more flexibility in case we end up in the blue-red. But I think for now we already can confirm that we're going to be in Quandrix with a Zimone really late. So I could just take the Quandrix Apprentice. It can just give draws a land, draws a card every single time you cast an instant or sorcery and enable Magecraft. Sure, it's a land, but still thinning out your deck, and having that early card advantage is great. So I don't mind taking it here. Other than that, I wouldn't mind. I would probably take Quandrix Pledge Mage over the Environmental Sciences, but we'll start with the Quandrix Apprentice since it's an uncommon. It's a little bit difficult to get, and then we can still wheel like Quandrix Pledge Mage or get past one if we're the Quandrix Drafter at the table. And yeah, that's a good sign. Kasmina from my left-hand side. This is not like a busted S-tier Planeswalker, but it's a pretty good Planeswalker. It's not going to win you the game immediately. It's going to take time to get going, but it's definitely a Planeswalker that the opponent has to emphasize on killing. Otherwise, it's just going to gain you a lot of value by improving your draw steps and then just making a bunch of fractal tokens. So this card seems great. Otherwise, I'd be looking at Scourge Colony as a nice 2-drop, but we'll take Kasmina here. And this is called reading the signals, folks. Not necessarily committing to your first pick, but just finding the open lane and evaluating the packs carefully to ensure that everything is good. Like, people get excited opening up their pack 1 pick 1 bombs, but it's not necessarily going to make it in the pack. So it could be arguable taking the heat debate was better than the Radiant Scroll Wielder, since we were going to splash red anyways. But you know, it's still kind of questionable. Okay, there's a second Radiant Scroll Wielder, but I don't think we're going to go 4 colors. This is between another Serpentine Curve and an Elemental Masterpiece. Right now, it doesn't seem like we have like a huge sum of instances and sorceries to really go with the Serpentine Curve. Like, I don't mind 2 copies in the Quandrix deck, but it's definitely worse in Quandrix compared to Prismari, where you're playing lots of cheap instances and cantrips to enable this. So I might just take an Elemental Masterpiece here as something I can hope to splash at the top end, because this card in Quandrix can be a little bit awkward if you have it in the early game, whereas I'm always happy with an Elemental Masterpiece in the late game. And then by taking this Elemental Masterpiece, if we do see a future Serpentine Curve, it just gets a whole lot better. But for the most part, we are going to be playing permanents, so the Serpentine Curve, I don't think a second one might be necessary, whereas the Elemental Masterpiece can be an upgrade over Explosive Welcome. This pack seems pretty awful. The best card in this pack is like Closing Statement, but we're not white. I guess I'll just take a Biomathematician as a filler 3-drop. Pretty unexciting pack, probably the worst pack we've seen so far outside the final packs in the first pack, but we'll take a Biomathematician. And Kelpie Guy's a nice pickup here. There's also another Mage Duel, but I could use some ramp in the Quandrix decks, and this is quite nice. Do keep in mind I need to get to 8 lands to turn this into some sort of removal spell. There's an argument of just taking the Mage Duel as well, since it just plays good the Serpentine Curve, and typically speaking, the Quandrix decks just don't have a ton of removal. Sure, there's balance like Burying Books, but just straight up removal that kills something usually is hard to find. So I think the safer pick here is just a Mage Duel here, and then hopefully we find like Field Trips instead on turn 3 to help us ramp. Kelpie Guide is a good card, but I actually think we might need the extra Mage Duel in this type of deck, since it just kills things immediately, whereas if Kelpie Guides gets answered, it feels bad. And speaking about Field Trips, here we found one. Finally found our first Learn card, and then maybe we can prioritize on finding maybe a couple of other lessons in the deck. Just the best green common in this set. Definitely would first pick my first Field Trip over Mage Duel if they're both in the same pack. But if this option comes up again, I would take the Mage Duel after my first Field Trip. But Field Trip is one of the more important green commons, since green is trying to ramp and play big stuff in this set, even the Witherbloom decks. Okay, there's a Harness Infinity. I don't think we can do it. It's triple black. We're not black. We already have a Quandrix Campus. I don't mind taking a second Biomathematician or maybe Vortex Runner. Maybe Vortex Runner is better. There's an argument that you can just take a million Biomathematicians and make them all work, but really I haven't seen that go off too much. I think the Vortex Runner can give us some sort of late game win condition, in a sense, that can chip in for damage. Overall, I don't want to flood my deck with Biomathematicians, and if it ends up getting to that point, it's not great, so Vortex Runner instead. And Cram Session could be a decent way to learn, and we're having that weird glitch again where the card just disappears after I click on it somewhere, but it will reappear again. I guess we'll just treat the invisible card as a Vortex Runner, but we'll take a Cram Session as a decent way to learn. Also helps with the Serpentine Curve. And yeah, I'll take a Prismari Campus if it's to allow splashing for Elemental Masterpiece or Explosive Welcome. Definitely seems better than second Cram Session with what we're going for. And I don't mind splashing for the Shock. I think it's a reasonable removal spell to have. And then here, I don't think any of this matters, just taking the uncommon for the Vault. And then, yep, I think we're in the right guilds. since we were past Casmina, but I also feel like there's another Quandrix drafter at the table taking some of our goodies since the Pledge Mage didn't wheel. But hopefully next pack we can just round everything out, have a full deck of playables, and then this deck should be pretty sweet. Definitely need more ramp. I mean, I did pass up the Kelpie guide, but again, I think just having the second Mage Duel is a lot more important. Could even play this on turn 6. Definitely worse than Leyline Invocation, but can be a fine spot for now until we find a Leyline Invocation to replace this. So, yep. And again, this invisible card is a Vortex Runner, by the way. Here, there's a Divide by Zero as a great spell. It allows us to learn, and then just great interaction. There's also 8th Aether Helix and our Leyline Invocation that I was just talking about. Currently don't have any learn cards, so the Divide by Zero isn't going to be great. But we also don't have too many permanents. Like, this is nice getting back Casmina, but it's at 5 mana, which we already have double Burying Books for. Burying Books can get a discount, I get it, but sometimes you might just want to cast this for 5 mana to bounce something back. So we should have enough bounce to deal with large tokens that maybe I just prefer taking Divide by Zero here as another, just a fine instant speed removal spell, and then hopefully we can pick up some lessons to go in this deck. I don't mind another learn card, and then hopefully pick up a Fractal Summoning. There's also Leyline Invocation, but I think Divide and Aether Helix are just better. Let's just take a Divide by Zero. Seems quite good. And there's a second Mage Duel, there's another Campus. There's also Negate, but I think it's a lot worse than these two. Probably just take another Mage Duel. Typically speaking, you do need some creatures to fight with, of course. But I don't really want too many Burying Books. Negate is also fine, but definitely a lot worse than these two. Let's just take a Mage Duel here. I'll play 3 copies if I need to. And then there's our Fractal Summoning, but there's also Eureka Moments. Unfortunately, I think we have to take the Fractal Summoning. We just don't have any lessons to grab from the sideboard, which can be kind of weird if we're playing some Learn here. So I have to take it over Eureka Moment. Eureka Moment is fantastic, and I hope it wheels. But for now, I think the Fractal Summoning is more important, especially if we have a bunch of Learn cards, and if we don't have any lessons to pick up, it's not going to be great. Fractal Summoning is the perfect lesson for the Quandrix deck by far, and I highly doubt this is going to wheel, but I've seen Eureka Moments wheel. But Fractal Summoning is mostly going to get picked up by maybe even a Prismari drafter since it's hybrid color. So, yeah, I think the Summoning is more important than Eureka Moment. But if we have an option between these two again, I might just have to take the Eureka Moment to diversify and have something at 4 to help me ramp. But we'll see. Okay, Harmonize, well, but there's also Quandrix Pledge Mage. Man, all these cards are really good. Between Harmonize and Quandrix Pledge Mage, which one do I want? I could use a good creature to fight with, and Quandrix Pledge Mage with Mage Duel is really awesome. As much as I like Harmonize, I think we have some good late game already. And our card advantage seems okay with Zimone and the Quandrix Apprentice. Yeah, I think I just have to take Quandrix Pledge Mage here. Harmonize would be perfect in my deck, but I really think I need more creatures in this deck, and I don't really want to run Cogwork Archivist unless I have to. There's just not too many creatures, and with triple Mage Duel, I really need to prioritize this Pledge Mage, so I think I have to take it here. Unfortunately, Harmonize is amazing, but I can't take it. Here, between Field Trip and Needlethorn Drake, I think I'd take the Field Trip here. Just more ways to ramp into some more late-game cards that we can cast. There's an argument for taking a Needlethorn Drake, I guess, since we also don't have too much spells to learn into. I mean, also the late game isn't even that great, honestly. We're just looking to splash some top-end red cards. You know what, let's actually just take the Needlethorn Drake. And then maybe prioritize lessons later. I actually like Snakeskin Veil over Pop Quiz with our composition right now. There's Bayou Groff as a 5-drop, but it's pretty bad. I think I like the Snakeskin Veil. And yeah, this is just worse than a Field Trip. Let's just take Snakeskin Veil here. And then we can take an Arcane Subtraction, although again, not too many ways to learn. Do I actually just take a Biograph here? I mean, the problem is that we just don't have too many lessons to grab. Like, sure, we can discard a land, but it's not looking great. And I probably just need a 5-drop anyway, so as much as I would like an Arcane Subtraction, I think I actually take the Biograph here. Because someone is drafting all of our top-end spells. Here we'll take a Decisive Denial as a nice interaction spell. And then, wow, Aether Helix Wheel, I guess I'll take an Aether Helix. There's the Exponential Growth combo of the Vortex Runner, but that's pretty narrow. But we'll take Aether Helix here as a way to get back our Planeswalkers, potentially, and some of our permanents. I could even main deck a Negate here. Might be better than Big Play, who knows. And, yeah, We might have to even cut the Explosive Welcome in this type of deck, since we don't even have that much fixing for our red. And with only one campus, I don't think that's enough. There's definitely another Quandrix drafter at the table here that was cutting us off, and you know, it doesn't feel great in this scenario, so we might have to just cut this Explosive Welcome and just play Shock and Elemental Masterpiece, so it can make it easier for us to splash. Might not need the Cram Session. Like, it's a fine way to learn, but we have Field Trip and Divide by Zero already, and Cram Session is mostly filler. So this leaves us with 23 cards now, plus the big play, which I also don't mind, since we could use a combat trick in this type of deck. Yeah, this might just have to be the deck. I feel like there's a Quandrix drafter. There's another Quandrix drafter at the table cutting us off. But in all, I think it's still okay. And this is 41 cards. I guess we need to make one more cut. I don't hate the Cogwort Arcanist. We could use a large creature at the top end. Also don't mind a Serpentine Curve. I definitely see the argument for cutting Explosive Welcome. We don't have a ton of ramp necessarily. We have some decent disruption spells, some fine creatures. We don't have too many win conditions. I guess I can count the Baograph as a bad 5-drop, and it does have some synergy with Biomathematician. I guess if I cut the Fractal Summoning, now it's 40 cards. So this seems a lot better. Yeah, this seems fine. We definitely read the signals and knew that Quandrix was open in the first pack, but somewhere along the way, some people thought they could have jumped ship into Quandrix, I think, and did what we did. But overall, still seems like a fine deck. Again, let's double check the learn cards we have. Just 2 learn cards, and I only think we have 1 lesson, right? Yep, only 1 lesson, so there's really no reason to just play a Cram Session just to gain 4 life and learn when we have 2 better learn cards already. So yeah, I don't think Cram Session is going to make it. Looking at the rest of this pack, there's a Bibliotech Assistant I can fit at 4, but it's also still not a really good card. It's pretty slow either way, and it does deny you a draw step. Like, sure, you can get back a removal spell, but you might need to draw it into lands. So Bibliotech Assistant. Biblioplex Assistant is not that great. There's, again, Explosive Welcome, which we could take over Shock, but again, we don't have too much ramp. We only have a Field Trip. Zamone can help me ramp, I guess, but outside of all that, we just don't have too much ramp. It might not be reliable, whereas if we top deck a Shock, it can be easier to cast, and we're not always guaranteed to hit 8 in games. The gate is also okay-ish, but I think it's worse than Big Play, which can maybe help us blow up a double block. In terms of creatures, we only have 8 creatures, so maybe Big Play isn't that good. I mean, 8 plus, 9, 10 with the Elemental Masterpiece, 11 with the Serpentine Curve, 12 with the Fractal Summoning, I guess. Or 13 with the Kazmina could be fine, but, maybe we do just cut the Big Play. It doesn't seem like we have a lot of creatures in this deck, and it can be kind of awkward not having anything to target with it. So maybe Big Play can go, and we'd rather just main deck Negate instead. And again, I think this is a pretty reasonable card in this set, given how many instances of sorceries and lessons there are to fetch. And then we can rely on triple Mage Duel instead of the Big Play to just fight off some annoying flyers in this type of deck. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else I want to consider. Yeah, this draft is definitely weird. Not the most optimal. So I don't know if I need to run double Mountain, 3 red sources for 2 red spells. But I definitely think we need 8 blue and 8 green. So if you look at our mana base, 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, I guess I need to add in 1 more forest. And I guess this is fine. 8 green sources, 8 blue sources, and then 3 red for our Elemental Masterpiece and Shock. Seems reasonable. Yeah, overall, this draft wasn't the most optimal. I could also cut the Biograph and throw in an Explosive Welcome, but again, I think we need creatures in this deck. Like, we honestly don't have a lot of pressure in this type of deck, and this is mostly just a removal spell, and this is only better if we can deal a ton of damage to the opponent early, and then just blow them up with an Explosive Welcome, but getting to 8 mana is not the easiest, so I'd rather just have to Shock at the end of the day. Yeah, let's try this out. Don't know how this is going to perform, but we'll see. And if this is a wash, then we'll just do another draft. Let's make sure that we have 17 lands, of course. 17 lands, okay. I'm not highly confident about this deck, but you never know. It could overperform. but I can't ensure that this will get to 7 or 6. I think the highest maybe this can get to 5, but we'll see. As long as everyone's learning, everyone's seeing the strategy to get to top 10 Mythic, then I'm happy with this, and then hopefully I can get the top 10 Mythic and I don't end up getting totally thrashed and destroyed in my drafts. But, you know, I think I'm a pretty reasonable drafter. This pack isn't great. We're on the play. I mean, we can play out Quandrix Pledge Mage. We can eventually maybe draw into some blue mana, but maybe we can Pledge Mage into Mage Duel. Being on the play, I don't really like to mulligan, so I think we actually keep here. It's not an exciting hand, but we could just draw into blue mana eventually. Hopefully draw into some spells to go along with this Quandrix Pledge Mage. And Quandrix Pledge Mage, keep in mind, is going to be at its best in the early game anyways. So you might as well just play it out immediately. I could also just play Bile Mathematician to evade some removal. Let me think here. Let's think. Let's say he has removal next turn for the Bile Mathematician. Actually, you know what? I think I need to kill this next turn, otherwise it's just going to be really annoying. And if I'm planning to kill this next turn, I might as well play the Quandrix Pledge Mage since it can gain the extra counter from casting an instant or sorcery. So I think it's actually worth playing it here. Even if he has a removal spell, sure, I lose my big creature, but like, I mean, this is high risk, high reward. Probably has a shock here. Okay, rip apart. Not the worst. I'll take 2. Now the question is, do I want to play 2 bodies or 1 body? If I play a Bile Mathematician, I highly doubt he's going to attack here into it in all my trades, since this is a really nice card for him. So I don't mind actually just playing the Bile Mathematician over Vortex Runner. Because say he kills the Bile Mathematician, at least I have a 1/1 that can fight with the Mage Duel. So I think I actually play the Bile Mathematician here. And plus, it requires a little bit more mana compared to the rest of these other cards. I mean, I guess it's comparable to Needlethorn Drake requiring both green and blue. So if he passes a turn, I'm not sure if I want to deal with this. This requires 5 mana to activate, so it might not even be necessary. Although, I mean, what do I do here? I could just attack for 2 and play Vortex Runner then, because I guess we can only play 1 blue spell, and if I want to Mage Duel, I use on my whole turn. So maybe it's fine just attacking the 2/2, and I don't want to run the risk of him having like an interaction spell to blow me out to Mage Duel. Here he could have Arcane Subtraction, but I still think we have to attack here, just to be a bit more aggressive here. Arcane Subtraction sure would suck, but then maybe that can give us a window to fight. And I'll play a Vortex Runner here. And again, he can't activate this until he's at 5 mana. So he could just pass the turn and just activate this, which isn't wrong. So maybe I had to just Mage Duel this, apparently. Yeah, maybe I just do. And if I want a Mage Duel, which one do I want a Mage Duel with? I guess I want a Mage Duel the 1/1. It could be really bad if this leads to a complete blowout, but I think we have to go for it. Not sure if this is correct. I can be totally wrong. He could also have instant speed to blow me out here. But, I mean, I have to eventually... But, I mean, if he's going to use removal to deal with this, then he's not going to have a turn to activate this. And then I can hit him for 4, and I can just play a Needlethorn Drake. Of course, he still has his value engine going, but, I mean, what can I do here? Okay. I'm happy I Swords of Plowshare on 1/1. This is still annoying 2 for 1, but, you know, I might as well bait it out while I can. Attack for a 4. And then at least he doesn't get to activate Plarg. Maybe see a removal spell, expel, sure. So some sort of Jeskai control deck. We're not applying a whole ton of pressure, so we're kind of in bad shape here. Especially if he can activate Plarg. I guess he can activate this to loot, sure. So the question is, do I even want to bounce Plarg next turn? I might as well just attack and just go from there. It's not looking great for me here, though. Because again, he can just constantly activate this and just outvalue me with Plarg. Galazeth, that's a strong card. I guess I can just bounce this back here. It's not great. But I mean, what else do I do? I can attack with a Needlethorn Drake. I could also just keep everything back. In case. If I bounce this back and attack for 3, I don't think that accomplishes anything. I think we just say go here. And yeah. We're just dealing with a really powerful Jeskai control deck. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. We're drafting at a pretty top level, so it's not the easiest to win against this. Second burying books. Okay, I might just have to bury the Plarg if he activates it. I can respond now. I don't know if I want this to resolve yet. Maybe it's fine. Spectacle Mage, sure. I guess I can bury Galazeth Prismari end of turn, and then if he decides to activate Plarg, then he has to shuffle this back in his library. It's not looking great, but this is what I have to do here. Yeah, if he has removal for this, he can just... I mean, it's not the worst. At least I trade for the Spectacle Mage. But I still have to deal with Galazeth Prismari, which isn't great. I don't know, maybe holding on to the Burying Books was better, but I mean, he still has a 3-4 that's going to crash in. I mean, I guess he could have used that, and then I could have bounced the creature and then blocked Galazeth. Okay, we can make 2-7, 2-4-4. Still doesn't seem great for me since I can't even attack past this 1-5, but, you know, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know if we can even win. He just has so much value, and then, you know, we just can't seem to get any good attacks. I mean, I might as well just bury in books and attack with the 2 double 4/4s at this point. I don't think I can win this game. And if he has a counterspell, I'm just going to concede, but, you know. Yeah, let's move to combat, attack with both of these, and then, yeah, we just need to be aggressive, I think. If he has, like, a burying books or, like, something here, then that's just going to lead to a complete blowout. Yeah, this isn't good. Alright, I think you got it. I don't think I can beat this. It's just too much and then he's just gonna make a giant blocker and I can't even attack past it. Yeah, this is just game over. GG's. His deck was really strong. That was a really good Jeskai deck. But hopefully we can, again, get some wins. Again, not the best deck, but I think I read the signals as best as I could. We got past Zamone really late, and then we got past, like, Kazmina. There was no way I was going to get out of Quandrix at that point. But overall, I think we also weren't past, like... Overall, I think there was maybe another or 2 other Quandrix drafters at the table cutting us off in the 2nd or 3rd pack. Or there's a possibility that the packs just aren't great, just didn't have too many great cards. And either the blue or the red drafter just took all of our other playables, but, you know, it is what it is. Okay, Quandrix Pledge Mage and the Kazmina seems okay, although it doesn't really grow the Pledge Mage. I still think we keep this. We have both of our 3 colors, and I definitely want to play blue to at least keep up a turn 2 negate. Like, having the turn 2 negate is actually quite useful, especially if they cast, like Cram Session. Having you negate that actually puts them back a bit. So yeah, let's just keep up our colors here, keep up negates. And I might just Kazmina first. Since Kazmina, I just want to get her loyalty up. But we'll see. Professor, that's a good one. So I don't want to play Kazmina into that. Like, I can plus Kazmina the Scry one, but it's probably just better to just play the Pledge Mage and then set up a Mage Duel on the Inkling token. Definitely no blocks. The question is, do I attack back once I kill it with the creature? I don't know. Not sure. I could also just keep up my negate for the Inkling Summoning token, which I'm also not against. You know what? I could also just play out the Biomathematician, actually, just to be mad efficient. I don't think I need to counter this since I can fight it off. And then save the negate for later. And I guess we could also sacrifice the 1/1 token to the Biograph, so that's also not too bad. Okay, that's a creature I don't mind fighting, and if you Guiding Voice on it, that's even better. We can get some nice value off of fighting it. As much as I like to keep up Mage Duel, I think I might have to just fight this right away. I mean, I could keep up the negate, but it doesn't really do anything. So I think we actually just use Mage Duel here with the Quandrix Pledge Mage. I could also, again, keep up negate still. Like, it's a close call. Like, I mean, it could be reasonable just to sacrifice the 1/1 token and keep up the negate just to be mana efficient. I think I like that instead. And I think I don't mind attacking the 2/2. I don't mind him trading his 2/1. Sure, he gets it back, but at least I get rid of this blocker for the turn. So this is fine. I can be a little bit aggressive here. It's not until turn 6 he can loop this back, but eventually he's going to have to replay it again anyway, so this is fine. And I think I'm fine countering this as well. Yeah, this is fine. It's still a 2-for-1 because he learned it. He got off a learn and he still keeps a 2/1 body. So it's actually not that bad for him. Now in this scenario, I could just attack with both and see what happens. I could also fight first, but I think it's better to just attack with both and be a little bit aggressive here. And then if he has a study break, then I can proceed to just fighting off the 3/2, which sounds a lot better. So this is fine. And I think I want to fight off the 3/2 here. And then we'll pass. This way we can grow the Serpentine Curve, remove the board presence so he doesn't run us over. Spiteful Squad is pretty good. Yeah, this is not easy. I could cast Kazmina, make a chump blocker for the Spiteful Squad and keep everyone back, which I'm not against.
I can be your mentor. If
I could also just take a hit from the 2/2. Yeah, so let's just scry 1/2. I definitely need to hit my land drops. Prismari Campus is not the most amazing land, but it still gives me my land drop, so I think I'll keep it. And then if he wants to attack with Spiteful Squad, I'll let Kazmina take 2, and then I'll hold off the rest of these other creatures. Okay, I guess Kazmina is dead. Alright. So this is the problem with Kazmina. She's not that great of a planeswalker, guys. But still okay. And now there's a expand Nami, so he's going to hit me pretty hard. If he puts counters on the Spiteful Squad, it's also a bad sign. Yeah, it's not good. We'll take it here, and then you can just make a bunch of chump blockers all day. Yeah, this is not good. I guess we'll make a 3/3 and a 5/5, sure. Probably not planning to block with any of this. You know, I think we still have to keep everyone back. We're in a bad position right now. That's a good one. Yep, Rise of Exodus. That's a very good one. Do I trade for the Spiteful Squad? I don't necessarily have to. It's just going to put counters everywhere. I mean, it's not a bad trade. But, I mean, having the extra blocker also keeps everyone back. He can distribute the counters next turn, but maybe I do just trade off the 5/4 for something. Alright, lands is not what we need. So we can play land so we can scry in the turn. And then hopefully we can draw into something that can help us stabilize with Simone on the battlefield. Not sure what it is, but we'll see. Yeah, I guess he has an intro here. I'm hoping I can top deck something good off of this. We'll see. I think I want to keep my mana open in case I top deck an instant that can save me here. Like maybe a Divide by 0 could be great. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay, I might have to just trade. I don't think it's reasonable to trade, but we're just going to get run over here. You know what, let's just concede. I don't think we can beat this. Yeah, just pretty horrendous game so far. Right to Sing Nose, didn't get past the busted Quandrix deck, and got owned by two pretty powerful decks throughout this draft, but, you know, this is how you make it the top 10 Mythic, guys. You gotta take the beatings. Sometimes the draft pools are just a game of variance, and you're drafting against other people who are trying to hit top 10 Mythic. It's really difficult, but we'll just keep trying. There's also the strategy for just resigning this draft, but I'm not going to be that way. I'm not going to be like that. At least maybe get 1 or 2 wins off of this, and if we get 0-3'd, so be it. Well, we finally have our first win. This hand does not look great. We really need green mana. We have a negate early on. If we get green mana, we can divide by 0. Still doesn't look great. We have 0 creatures. We need more lands. This hand is also not great, but I think I can keep. Might have to just bomb this Biomathematician. I don't think it's going to be very good in this opening hand. Whereas negate, we can still maybe counter like an annoying fractal token or like an instant or a sorcery that allows them to just get out of hand. And we're again facing against another Silverquill deck. Surprise, surprise. If he Essence Infusion onto this, that's going to be a little bit saddening. Just passes the turn, not the worst. We'll just say go, keep up the gate. Hopefully next turn we can field trip. That can go. So negate saved our butts. Thank God. Green mana, please. Never lucky. I'll still shock this, I think. It's not an unreasonable spell to shock. Yeah, let's just do it now. Otherwise, he can just distribute counters everywhere. We can let he can untap and have Beaming Defiance up, and that's really annoying. I don't know why people emote like this. I get it, like you're impatient, but like I also don't have a great hand. Like, cut me some slack, Jesus. My hand's worse than yours, opponent. Jesus. Like, look at your colors. At least you have your colors. I need to rely on 1 green source just to play something, so that's a good card. Are you gonna complain about that? And we can't even do anything against it. I guess I have to attack into it, pay the ward, and I still lose 3 life, and I have to bounce this back, unfortunately. Yep. Definitely not great, but I can't let this hit me forever, so I need to put him off tempo by using Burying Books. As much as I hate doing this, I think we have to. And then he can still respond with an instant speed here and make a treasure. Yeah, this isn't great, but whatever. He might even have a Beaming Defiance to blow me out, yeah. So I don't know why you're complaining, honestly. Like, your go, seriously? Like, don't be rude, shit. Yeah, he even has an enthusiastic study. Why are you complaining? Yeah, you win the game, congratulations, you know. And I can't even draw a single spell. Congratulations, you know. Give a pat on yourself in the back. Alright, wasn't the best draft, and the last opponent also wasn't the nicest, so we'll just keep continuing. Alright, now you guys get to see my first 0-3 video, and this doesn't happen too often, just to keep in mind. This was just this is just really bad luck. So we'll just keep firing some more drafts and hopefully end up with a better deck. And even if you make your best decision possible in draft, it's not like you always open up a pack 1, pick 1 bomb rare that you can build around or make happen. Like, we opened up Radiant Scroll Wheeler, but we clearly saw that red wasn't open. I could have also saved my shock against that witch, I guess. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have preemptively shocked the 1-1, 1-0. That was also kind of a bad mistake I made. Maybe it was better just to bounce it, or just take the hit and then wait until he cast the witch to shock it. So that might have just cost me the game, but, you know. Other than that, he didn't play the witch until like two lands later, so I couldn't have really predicted it. And I would have shocked it end of turn anyways by taking that 1 damage, so... overall, I still think waiting was probably correct there. But yeah, hopefully this time we get rewarded. We got pack 1, pick 1 bomb. Sweet. I guess we can force the Lore Holder Silverquill aggro deck again. just like the first video I made about my climb to top 10 Mythic. At the uncommons, we see either Helix and Quandrix Apprentice, all pretty excellent. At common, we see Combat Professor and Heated Debate, both also really excellent commons. Depending on which situation do you want to go in. Do you want to take the removal route, or do you want to take the aggro route with the Combat Professor? But Sparring Regiment is just a pack one, pick one bomb. I'll definitely play some sort. You definitely play an aggressive white deck with this, and you want to be very creature heavy. The fact is that this learns also is just really insane. The fact that you can find a token and give this vigilance and a 1/1 counter when it attacks is really nice. So yeah, easy slam pick Sparring Regiment. And then can we draft a white aggressive deck? I mean, there's a Combat Professor. Like, iTwitch is probably, I don't know, close in power level to Combat Professor if we want to force Silverquill. But this just keeps me in mono white, which I like. And I think this is a lot better than Expanded Anatomy. Expanded Anatomy is probably the most open choice and still pretty good in the white aggressive decks. And you definitely want at least 1 or 2 copies of Expanded Anatomy in a aggressive white deck, but I don't mind just cutting off white here and taking the Combat Professor. After taking Sparring Regiment, I think I want to commit to white, obviously, and cut off my signal from my for my left-hand side, so we'll take the Combat Professor. If this wasn't this pack, I would probably take maybe Expanded Anatomy over iTwitch, not sure. They're both pretty good in any aggressive deck, but I mean, this keeps me more open at least, but we'll just take Combat Professor. And this is arguably the best card in this pack as well. Closest in power level with the Anatomy. We could just go Lorehold aggro with Shock. I mean, that's pretty late. We're also seeing some good Silverquill cards like Silverquill Apprentice and Silverquill Pledge Mage. I mean, Shock is just too good to pass up here, right? I mean, just really efficient cheap removal. I mean, there's Lash of Malice and Silverquill. I get it, that is the Black Shock, but we don't have it yet. And there's a chance that if Silverquill is open, we can at least wheel one of these, and we can still pivot back into Silverquill instead of Lorehold. But Shock is just too good. I don't mind drafting Lorehold aggro. I did it once, and it was pretty fun. But that was when I opened up the Slam Dunk Colda, the Hoffrey, I think, the Ghost Forge with a Sparring Regiment in my pack 2 pick one. But anyways, we'll try something different. Let's take the Shock. And maybe we just lean towards Lorehold aggro. Unfortunately, I had to take the Inkling Summoning over Lorehold Pledge Mage. We can still play this in Lorehold, of course, but we just need a good lesson to search up with Sparring Regiment, and this is just fantastic in any white aggressive deck. Reflective Golem is also quite good if you can pick up a lot of Guiding Voices to go along with this. But I would still maybe still take Lorehold Pledge Mage over it. Not sure. We'll take Inkling Summoning for sure here, and we'll see where we end up. Quintorius can be kind of fun. I don't like Pest Summoning that much in a Silverquill deck. It's fine. But 2/1/1s, I mean, 2/1/1s can help you chomp, I get it, but 3-man making 2/1/1 still isn't great. I mean, Spiteful Squad is okay, but I could just take Quintorius here. Like, Quintorius can have some nice, sweet synergy in a Lorehold aggro deck. Like, sure, a 5-man 2/4 isn't great, but sometimes you do bring back something from the graveyard, and you can get good value out of Quintorius. And just having like flying spirit tokens can be nice. So I think I'll take Quintorius here over Spiteful Squad. The most flexible best card in this pack is by far Mage Duel, and to a lesser extent Enter's Guidance. But I don't think we're pivoting to green at this point. Let's just take the Quintorius here. And Study Break doesn't seem bad. It keeps us in mono white. Nice way to tap things down. There's also Late Hunt for Specimens. That's pretty good in both Silverquill and Witherbloom. But I think we just want to stay open here. Take the Study Break. Nice way to help us learn. Taps 2 creatures down. Keeps us in white. It's pretty good. And let's see. I guess now we can take maybe Pest Summoning. Relic Slough is okay, but there's usually like 5 drops like Quintorius that you rather just have in the aggressive Lorehold deck. Like, I don't mind it, but too many 5 drops in an aggressive deck usually isn't where you want to be. Some Breakthrough is also fine, but it ends up wheeling. The best card in this pack is like Eureka Moment, Leyline Vacation, and Snakeskin Veil. I think I'll just take the Pest Summoning in case I still end up in the Silverquill. I guess it's like a nice backup like lesson if we pick up a lot of learn cards, and it's okay. Definitely not a lesson I would prioritize specifically, but it's okay. First Day of Class could be an okay way to learn, but worse than Study Break, of course. People are not too high upon this. Like, I used to think every learn card was good, but First Day of Class is not great. I don't mind just taking maybe Tenured Innkeeper. It has some synergy with Silverquill. Sign that Silverquill could also just be open. I don't mind playing it. It's not a great card, but serviceable. And we'll take a Lorehold Pledge Mage. Although there's Spirit Summoning too in the same pack. Right now, we do have 2 lessons already. If we end up in Lorehold, we might want the extra lesson, but we might actually just want the extra creature anyways. Might just be the creature, since there's just because learn cards tend to get snatched up a lot during drafts, and so you might not have time to learn the Spirit Summoning out. And again, we can still play both in the Silverquill deck. So the Laurel Pledge Mage is just a nice aggressive creature. The 2-powered first striker, but potentially 3 or more is quite good. And we'll take a reduce the memory as a lesson. Spiteful Squad again is okay, but not a Silverquill card I care about too much. We could maybe take the Promising Dusk Mage or First Day of Class. I mean, First Day of Class is just a lot worse than Study Break, and you really need like a good amount of mana to learn and then cast a creature to put counter onto it. Yeah, you know what? I'll just take the Promising Dusk Mage. Keep it even 50-50. We can either be in Lorehold or we can end up in Silverquill. Right now, we haven't yet decided, but or it can be both. I'm not sure if I want to be both in an aggressive deck, but you can definitely be both if you have a lot of removal, and you can just play the Mardu control deck, which is a pretty fun niche archetype in the set. It's a not too common, but it does come together and it's really strong. But it does require a lot more work. You need multiple copies of Rise of Exodus, lots of fixing, powerful bombs like Blot Out the Sky, Radiant Scroll Looter, and hey, we even got a First Day of Class. So we got one anyways, so I'm glad that I actually passed them up. Okay, Relic Sloth, okay, maybe it does make the cut. Maybe we just end up in Lorehold aggro. Body Research is a really fun card, but I'm not sure if I would first pick it. It's hefty mana requirements, and it's not necessarily great since it can just easily get bounced by an opposing blue deck. Here we're looking at another Inkling Summoning and Guiding Voice here as the best 2 white commons in this pack. Probably just want my Guiding Voice now. I mean, we already have an Inkling Summoning already. I just want to diversify a bit. I think the Guiding Voice is quite nice in an aggressive deck. Helps us learn early, pick up our Inkling Summoning token that we already have, or Pest Summoning, or other Inkling Summonings, or other lesson cards in the future. We'll just take it here. There's also Necrotic Fumes. Ooh, Killian. Okay, definitely gotta take Killian here. Okay. Though we were leaning towards Lorehold, we might just want to force Silverquill now. Killian's just really busted. One of the Mythic uncommons in the set, probably the best Mythic uncommon hybrid, along with like Rutha and Bookworm. But Killian is definitely really scary here. Otherwise, we'd be looking at Study Break, but it's definitely not close in power level. Let's just take Killian and see if Silverquill is open. We could just take a 2-drop. We could take a Spirit Summoning still to keep our options open. Spirit Summoning is probably one of the weaker lessons. Like, it does give us a fine learn card, but I could just cut off black here by taking the Arrogant Poet since it's just a really good 2-drop. Right now, the red cards aren't looking too exciting. We don't even have that much synergy with Quandrix. Sure, I can grab a Spirit, but it still has 2 toughness. Like, who cares? And we already have a Pest Summoning, so I could just go into a Silverquill now in the ban the red, which could just be fine. After picking up a Killian here, like Arrogant Poet just seems like a great follow-up, and I think it's a lot better than Spirit Summoning, so we'll take it here, and then maybe force Silverquill, the best aggressive archetype in the set. Now we can take a Hunt for Specimens as a great way to learn as well. It gives me a 2-drop. Also wouldn't mind Spectre Fens or Allen Shield Mage at the top end, but again, the more early learn, the better. And this is fine, so we'll take a Hunt for Specimens here. And yeah, I think we just want to commit to, again, Silverquill. No great Lorehold cards, no great Silverquill cards, but we'll take a Defend the Campus, also pretty main deckable, helping us deal with large threats, and then giving us a nice pump spell in the late game. So I don't think we're splashing for red either. We're just going to go straight up Silverquill. And just did what our opponents did the last draft, just force an aggressive deck. As much as I like the second Guiding Voice, I think we really want the second Combat Professor. Like, in terms of the best white commons, I think Guiding Voice is substantially better than Combat Professor in the early game. But we already have one, and I'm kind of lacking some 4-drop evasive creatures in this deck. We don't have much evasion as of right now, and given that we decide to stay flexible in the first pack, we just don't have too many amazing threats. So I think I might want the extra Combat Professor here to help us close out the game. And I've actually seen Guiding Voices go pretty late, so we'll take a Combat Professor here. I definitely want my first Guiding Voice over Combat Professor, but once I have a Guiding Voice, I definitely want a Combat Professor over it. Divine Gambit is fine, okay removal, but better in the late game. If you cast it early, it can be really bad. You can just help them ramp out a bomb. So maybe we just take an Exhilarating Elocution here as a fine pump trick that can help us go wide. Seems okay. Not sure which one's better between Defend the Campus and Exhilarating Elocution. Another Hunt for Specimens, so now our lessons are getting better. I mean, our learn is getting better, not necessarily our lessons. We'll take Pillar Drop Rescue, a nice top-end spell. So yeah, it does seem like we just want to be in a Silverquill. Red seems a little bit cut off and dry. But yeah, the Silverquill deck looks really solid. Just lacking removal. I could use like Rise of Exodus at the top end, some Eliminate, some Lash of Malices. I mean, those can definitely help go a long way here. Maybe an extra Study Break, an extra Inkling Summoning we can grab as a lesson. Who knows? There's an argument now in this set also just to force Silverquill to get to Mythic quickly, because it's a fast deck, you can win games quickly. It's also very strong, there's a lot of good commons, and there's also a ton of removal. So, like, it could be reasonable to even, like, first pick Kilion and just force it, but it doesn't seem very fun. Like, it could be the most optimal way, but again, I don't think it's very fun, so I might not even do it. And I rather might even take Environmental Sciences over Kilion Pack 1, pick 1, just to have more fun throughout these draft videos. Like, let's get the top 10 Mythic drafting well, having fun and winning, instead of just trying to win and, you know, trying to be jerks to everyone. Like, you know, the previous guy I made the video on, I had the last draft with. Here, I think I just take an Arrogant Poet as another good 2-drop. Pestilent Cauldron is not very good. Even in Witterbloom, I'm not even sure if I will play the first half of this. If this wasn't his pack, probably take Intro or another Pillar Drop Rescuer, but we'll take an Arrogant Poet. Just need to have these efficient 2-drops in the black-white aggro deck. Now, this card's an insane bomb, but unfortunately we're not in that archetype, so we'll take another Pillar Drop Rescuer, maybe an upgrade over Tenured Innkeeper. Like, sure, Tenured Innkeeper can put a counter onto this, but the fact that this doesn't fly is pretty bad, and the 5-mana 2/2 is just a really bad body. You drain them for 1. Like, it has synergy with Sparring Regiment, I get it, you drain them, but, I mean, it could be okay, but I still don't put a high emphasis on this. Let's just take a Pillar Drop Rescuer. It can bring back creatures that we might need again. I do want a Lash of Malice. As much as I love Expand Anatomy, and as much as I would love another 2-drop like Silverquill Apprentice, I think we really need Lash of Malice in this type of deck. Like, we really have 0 removal right now, and that's going to be kind of bad. Like, Study Break is like our only interaction, and that's not good. We need ways to help us deal with small threats, and then just cheese out, just get in for a lot of damage. How many ways do we have? Learn 1, 2, 3, 4 ways to learn. So again, another Expand Anatomy would be great. It would probably be my second pick out of this pack, but I still think we need to take Lash of Malice here. We really need a removal, otherwise this deck isn't going to function well. Essence Infusion could be pretty nice, although we don't have too many 1-drops. The Stonerise Spear is also fine, but not great. There's an Ingenious Inspiration, but I don't think we're splashing for it. Stonerise Spear is not great. I don't even really like it in Silverquill. Like, I'm fine with it in Lorehold. It gives me a 2-drop flyer that I can maybe put counters onto, but maybe the Essence Infusion is just better. Just nice with the Combat Professors, and maybe an upgrade over Exhilarating Elocution, since this is 4 mana, which can be kind of clunky. So yeah, let's just take Essence Infusion. Pretty disappointing pack. Best card in this pack is Igneous Inspiration, and we'll take a Professor's Warning as a fine 1-of. Can be an okay combat trick at times, although not very good. And I guess I'll just take my second Pest Summoning. I don't think we need a second Promising Dust Mage, Professor's Warning, or Exhilarating Elocution. Just grab the extra lesson in case we need the extra learn. Defying Strike could be okay. Not a big fan of Introduction to Prophecy in these aggro decks. Defying Strike could just be a fine way to just chip in for some damage, trigger Magecraft with the Lorehold Pledge Mage. Could also be cullable as well. And then this pack just sucks. I might actually just play the Star People as a 1-drop. Like, it's fine with Essence Infusion too. It's an early cheap creature that we kind of desperately need. Expel could also be fine if we're trying to race in the air, but we'll take a Star Pupil. I really need a 1-drop in this deck. As much as I don't like it, I still think I take it here. And just like the last draft, this draft isn't super amazing, but still serviceable. Maybe we can cheese the opponent out. We're lacking 1 extra playable 2, so I guess we can play everything that we've taken so far, and then just throw in like 1 extra like main deck card, and we'll be at 23. But you know, drafting at this ranking, it's really difficult to get to 7. But I'm definitely going to promise I'll get to the top 10 Mythic for you guys. Okay, it's just, again, it takes time. And I've done before early. I definitely think I need the Campus here. As much as I don't mind another 2-drop or 1-drop, the Campus goes a long way. Okay, we might just have to make that like Maker Mark, which I'm not against either. It still makes a creature when a creature ends up dying, and it's still like a 1 power combat trick. This deck is going to be pretty fragile and all-in though. Unfortunately, if we're going to be main decking tricks like Divine Strike and the Maker Mark, so like one wrong misstep where we don't actually get into damage or cast in the right time can actually cost us the game. Maybe I do just play Cogware Archivist, not sure. It doesn't seem great either. And with this, I guess this is 23 cards. Cogware Archivist is pretty bad. Divine Strike is also not very good. I hate to say it. I'd rather just play Make Your Mark, because at least Make Your Mark can make a 3-2. Like, sure, it's kind of close since you draw a card, but I'd rather just have the tempo and have a creature out in the battlefield with the Make Your Mark. So I think it's actually Make Your Mark over the Divine Strike. So looking at the learn cards we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 learn cards. How many lessons? 1, 2, 3. 3 lessons seems okay. And this I might just have to play this Cogware Archivist. As much as I don't hate it, as much as I don't like it, it gives me a fine 6-drop I can play out into. I could swap it for Defiant Strike, and it does make sense in an aggressive deck. But overall, it doesn't seem very good in this type of deck. This is a card you want to play in a 16-lander. Like, I could throw this in with 16 lands, but I do have 3 5-drops, 4 4-drops, and 1 6-drop I want to get to, so I think it's a bit too risky. We could have actually, I mean, if we saw some Lorehold campuses, maybe we could have also picked them up and splashed for like something like a shock, but I don't want to splash in an aggressive deck. Okay, this deck seems fine. We started out with a pretty good rare, but overall the draft was okay-ish, just like the last video, but we'll stick with it, you know. It's what happens. You're drafting at a high ranking. There's a lot of people taking good cards as well. Yada yada. We're just doing our best, and this is what we've got. So let's go first. Number 2, because this is again a first pick Sparring Regiment into a Silverquill deck. Definitely a lot worse than the one I previously drafted. Where's the arrow? Yeah. I guess there's too many letters. Whatever. I'm hoping Sparring Regiment can just help us steal some games. Alright, we can hunt, however no white mana. It's definitely very risky if I don't get white mana. So I might just mulligan this, actually. Yeah, we're on the draw, it's not that bad. I need a mix of white and black. This doesn't seem great either, but I guess we have to keep it now. Study Break is a fine way to learn. Professor's Warning is very medium. There's a Defend the Campus. Yeah, this hand is just really awful. Might want to just be greedy and bottom the land, potentially. But it's also not very good. Yeah, this is terrible. Yeah, let's just cut Defend the Campus. Doesn't seem like a good opening hand for it. I'm fine just playing this out on turn 1 to at least chip for 1 damage since we're an aggressive white deck. Zephyr Boots on turn 1 right away, sure. At least we have a 4-drop we can play instead of the terrible Utter Spell that we just picked up. Colony. I don't think I want to attack into that. I think I'll just play the Silverquill Campus and say go. This is just not a very good 1-drop, but it's a 1-drop nonetheless. Using a Study Break doesn't feel good also if he plays another following creature. Yeah, just not good. I guess we can still play Arrogant Poet, keep up Professor's Warning. I could also attack here, and then if he decides to block... I mean, I actually don't mind just putting a counter here, trading, and then putting the counters on the Arrogant Poet. Maybe that's just better, I'm not sure. We'll just pass the turn. Attacking would have definitely been strange, and it would have given away that we have some sort of trick. But we'll see. I guess he's going to equip and start zerging me in the air, sure. I guess he wants to hit his land drops by equipping the boots. Sure. Ooh, Blackish Trudge. That's going to hit pretty hard if he can untap with it. Okay, this is not looking good. If he hits his land drops, it's not great. I guess he could have maybe just saw a bunch of creatures in 0 lands. And now this is going to be stuck in his hand, but we'll see. I think the proper play is to put the Star People block and then put a counter to distribute the counters onto the Arrogant Poet if he decides to attack both. I don't think giving Indestructible is great since we want a large creature that can help us chip in for some damage. Let's think. I think I want to block for the Star People. Like, I could give this Indestructible, but I think just putting the counters is just way better. So let's just block here, and then before damage, we'll actually put a counter on the Star Pupil. Trade and then make a 4-3. It's actually not a bad exchange. And that way we can have a 4-3 Arrogant Poet, which can hold off the 2-2. Essence Infusion. Yeah, I'll get him for 6 if I like. I'm hoping he doesn't have removal, but I think this is worth it. I'm hoping this can just run away with the game. If he has removal, that's going to suck. He could just Mage Hunters in 2 for 1 himself, and it's actually not that bad for him since I use an Essence Infusion onto this. Cram Session, sure. I mean, I can still fly over. I'm hoping I can cast Combat Professor next turn and attack. Get him for 7, which is really nice. But he can, I guess he can also just give his Blackish Trudge flying, so he can set up a double block, which I'm also not against, honestly. Like, sure, he can get back the Combat Professors if he gains life, but I have to eventually get rid of this. He might just stay back with this. I'm also fine with him attacking too, because the Combat Professor can hold off this Scourge Colony, and I can hit for 7. Okay, this is good top deck. We'll definitely play the Combat Professor, get this Vigilance, and no need to pay for the life. Mini Sarah's Angel, decline. Wow, so brave attacking the 4-2, sure. I mean, I know you're trying to race, but I'm not even sure if this is correct, since you'll be down an extra blocker. And I can even cast Study Break on his turn, and now this gives me a nice way to attack, a window to attack him. I'm hoping he doesn't have a removal spell like Rise of Exodus. Stimulgot Bull Eater I can still tap down. I don't mind discarding the Cogwork Archivist. I guess he can give this flying, which is annoying, sure. I could just pass a turn and just, I mean, I'm going to miss out on some damage, which isn't great. So I might want to just keep the land here. So if I tap this down, he attacks me, then I'm just going to be dead. But I do have an extra blocker of the 6/5. So I could still take 7 here. You know what, let's Study Break. I mean, I guess I can still find Inkling tokens, so that's not actually not that bad. Yeah, let's just tap this down. I guess I can cast also just cast Reduce the Memory, which could also be reasonable. So 6, how much damage is this? 6, 7, 8, 9. I can put him down to 4. Reduce the Memory could be okay. I could also just grab Pest Summoning. But the problem is he can just keep up this blocker all day, which isn't great. So I think I actually want to reduce the memory here. This way I can also play out a land. I can move to combat. Do I want the Combat Professor to have unblockable or the Arrogant Poet? I don't think it really matters. I guess it does matter if he decides to give something flying, but I don't really want to block with the Combat Professor, so I think this is okay. And then, do I exile the Boots or do I exile the Demogoth Woe Eater? Might actually just exile the Boots and take a hit from a 7/7. It's actually not that bad. So then he doesn't have the extra flyer. But he does get the extra chump blocker. He does get to hit me for 7. And he does get a 3/2. So I'm not sure here. This doesn't seem easy for me. He can just keep equipping the Boots, which isn't great. And keep chump blocking all day. Yeah, maybe we do just exile the Zephyr Boots. I'm not sure if this is correct. I don't think it is. I think I'll take 7 here and then block everything else. And then hopefully find another chump blocker to chump the Demogoth Woe Eater for another turn. It's not easy. If we have one more extra way to give the Combat Professor power, we could definitely steal the game here. I actually don't mind discarding the Archivist as well. I think the opponent should actually just stack the 3/2 here and just attack with the 7/6. That's what I would probably do. And then chump with maybe the Scourge Colony. Wow, gets rid of the Reach creature? I'm not sure if that was correct. Yeah, I'm not sure if that was correct. I would definitely take the 7 now, and then I can block the largest creature here. But yeah, I don't really agree with what he just did there. Yeah, unless he has a Pump Trick, but I think we're blocking the 4/2, because this has to be a top deck in order for him to win. He can make a Pest token, but I guess, maybe I should have blocked the 3/2, since if I do need to pay 2 life, I'm going to die, so... I guess now we can hunt for specimens here and see what we grab. An Inkling token isn't too bad. Yeah, maybe I just need to stay back here. Yeah, I messed this one up. I should have at least blocked the 3/2. I made that terrible misplay. I can still attack with the Arrogant Poet, though. And still have Vigilance up. I can attack for... I mean, I might as well attack for 3 because he has a chump blocker, so... although, I might want this to have Vigilance, not sure. Maybe I just attack with the Combat Professor and keep everyone back. That's probably the way to go. Or he can bring back the Blackish Trudge, but then he's just gonna come in tapped, so it's not that big of a deal. I can chump block the 7/6, gain a life, and then attack with the Arrogant Poet next turn, I guess. And he needs a really good top deck here. I mean, 2 good top decks to deal with both flyers. Otherwise, it's just gonna be lethal. And this turn, I think he definitely needs to kill me. So that was a bit of a misplay. It didn't really count. I think the 6/5 should have definitely blocked the 3/2, fallen down to... No, actually, no, I blocked the right one. I blocked the highest power, because either way, I would have fallen down to 1, and I still would have... just to be safe, I think I do just block the 1/1 token here. Yeah, I think I just do my blocks like this. He does gain the extra life, but this is just being safe here. I don't want to get eaten by a Pump Spell anywhere. Hopefully he doesn't have anything, but if he does, it is what it is. Another Demogoth Woe Eater. I think that's a little bit overkill there. Yeah. I would never play double Demogoth Woe Eater. It's just too much requirements to sack. Like, I would definitely take... Like, I wouldn't mind my first copy, but then I would probably play, like, Professor of instead if it comes around. But it's also a solid card in Witherbloom. It's not like an amazing card. Definitely requires more work, and the payoff for it might not even be that amazing since there's a ton of bounce in the set, and removal, and ways to tap things down in blue. Also feels bad like getting its study braked or like expelled. So pretty flashy card, but not necessarily the best. Uncommon. Signpost uncommon. Killing on 2 and Sparring Regiment. The opening hand that we want to have every single game. Let's just keep this. Kill on 2 is really busted. Like, if it doesn't get answered, that is. But if it does get answered, then it's definitely not great. I can leave it as Sparring Regiment, or I can play Lorehold Pledge Mage. Any one of them I think I'm fine with. Lorehold Pledge Mage wouldn't be too bad, since if Killian gets answered, I can still have another creature backup for the Sparring Regiment. So it's actually not bad just playing out the Sparring Regiment here. I mean, playing out the Lorehold Pledge Mage instead. It really depends on what we want to do. If he has a negate, Sparring Regiment is bad. If he has reject, it's bad. But regardless, I think we still attack first and see what's up. I think I'll just run out the Lorehold Pledge Mage because it's most likely that you end up main decking reject in these decks. Why is everyone emoting at this rank? Just stop, you know. Like, great, you have some cool combo, like a board wipe that you're sandbag. I get it. Like, do I just play the Sparring Regiment? I don't hate doing so. Because putting a counter can be worse than actually playing out the Sparring Regiment. I think I will. He really needs like a negate to answer this. And the target I want to put it on is the Lorehold Pledge Mage when he attacks. Because I'd rather have this get bounced back than Killian. Although it does cost a little bit more. Inkling Summoning's pretty nice. And then we'll just attack with... I don't really want to use the Essence Infusion since he can just bounce whatever he wants back. And we'll attack with both. And I think I'm putting in the Lorehold Pledge Mage. Because Killian is just way better. It's probably Burying Books here, but we'll see. You could have also bounced Sparring Regiment, but I would just recast it and get learn and lesson off of it. Sure. That's not too bad. That's a pretty cool trick. I haven't seen that too often. Alright, yep. Maybe this is a way of getting back in the game. It's pretty nice play. I actually don't mind Essence Infusion here as well. Just to be mana efficient. Yeah, but we'll say go. I don't want to really play into like a removal spell or anything. Even if the opponent makes a 4/4, we still have Sparring Regiment, which is really strong. This is a sign he also has Burying Books too. I mean, that wasn't too bad, really. Like, it was still like a 2-for-1 from the opponent. Here, I don't mind the Inkling Summoning, just casting Essence Infusion here for 1. I don't really want this Sparring Regiment. Getting in for 5 here is just really nutty. Yeah, Killian is just so disgusting. So gross. This is just not easy to win. And we also get a 1-mana Study Break. Although this has Ward, but we might still end up playing this just to tap the 4/4 and another creature down. But we'll see. Sure. Dream Strix is pretty good. The nice thing about Dream Strix is I can just tap it down. Let's see. Yeah, I could just tap both of these down, and then I can just put a bunch of counters here next turn, and then use Sparring Regiment to give it a counter. I think that's good. This is fine. Just to be mana efficient. Make him sacrifice a Dream Strix, tap his 4/4 down. But this does seem like the game we're supposed to win here. There's Reduce, but it's not that great. I actually don't mind Pest Summoning just to have more creatures. And I actually don't mind going all in with this token. Because he would need to remove it and Killian and have an extra blocker for it left. Professor's Warning is also not that bad. Maybe it's better to just use Professor's Warning to protect my Aerialist and attack for 6, and then play the Pest Summoning. Although I guess I can't since it's double black. So if I use Exhilarating Elocution, I can put 2 counters onto this and grow it. I think I will, just to force a chump. And then now we can just put a counter here, which is really insane, and then he just force a chump this, otherwise he's just dead. And then we can also keep a Professor's Warning if he has like a Pigment Storm on my flyer. But yeah, this isn't good for him. He's just forced a chump either way. Okay, we could have a board wipe, but we do have Professor's Warning to keep something alive. If it's dragons, I guess it could be like Dragon's End or something. Teachings, I mean, he gets to draw 2, that's fine. I guess this is really his only way out, I think. I mean, he's not doing anything here, so whatever. Good games. No reason to block. Yup. Killian and Sparring Regiment are just so stupid. It's probably the most unfair, like, fun thing to play against. And it's that, like, turn 2 Killian and Sparring Regiment. I mean, turn 2 Killian in general, if you don't answer it, is just really dumb and ridiculous. Because imagine if we had, like, Rise of X's and Mage Hunter's Onslaught. Hopefully this is not another opponent I had to mute. I mean, we have a 2-drop. This is not really good. We need a couple of lands. I mean, it's a little bit risky. Maybe we can Study Break into like a 3-drop. I don't know. I'll try it. I just don't like mulligating on the play. I'm hoping I can get a couple of lands off the top. But, you know, there's a chance I don't. We are running 17 lands, so it should be... We can at least guarantee like a 3rd land drop. Like right now. Okay, we did get our 4th land drop. Excellent. So I don't even need to cycle the Study Break because Combat Professor, because this can fly over next turn. I do lose 2 life, of course, but you know, it's not a big deal. Yeah, I don't need to Study Break this. I can use this better when he has a flyer in the late game that's blocking my other flyers. So yeah, let's just play a land, play Combat Professor. After 3 turns of doing nothing, get this flying. And we'll just keep playing out flyers, pumping our team, attacking. Yeah, in this scenario, like, Accelerating Elocution isn't good, since I don't have a lot of creatures to help me go wide. I don't mind Hunt for Specimens and, like, Study Break on his turn. I think this is pretty good. Let's just grab an Inkling Summoning, and then I'm fine just attacking for 2, flying over, and then using Study Break on his attack step or after he plays a creature. Yeah, we'll just say go. Might be fine taking the 2 because I might just want to Study Break after he plays a big blocker, like right now. So this seems like a good turn to just Study Break here to get in some hits. I might even reduce the memory that 3/2. It seems kind of scary. Or Pest Summoning. Pest Summoning could also just be okay, but reduce might be a way that might be something I need to answer this. Otherwise, it's just going to get out of hand. Do I reduce now, or do I Exhilarating Elocution, or do I Inkling Summoning? I think Essence Infusion is actually the play here. Although it's not very mana efficient play. I could also just Exhilarating. It's better with more creatures, but when am I going to get more creatures? Not very likely. Let's just go in. Yeah, I'll just get in here. We just want to kill him quickly here. A 4/4 is very annoying, though. Not going to lie. Maybe I should just Essence Infusion. Not sure. But maybe this was the window for it. Kelpie Guy, that's really annoying. I'm hoping he just taps out here too. He could easily have a Burying Books as well, so maybe I don't want to play into it. I'll gladly take 4, of course. Yeah, he definitely has like a Burying Books or something here. Not a good sign. Land isn't all that bad, so now I can double spell. Double spelling doesn't seem too bad. Maybe I just go for it here. Do I pay the 2 life? I don't think I do. I'm fine with the block. So you could have a Burying Books here. That's going to be annoying, but I still gain 3 life to stay ahead. Yeah, of course. So luckily I managed to diversify, which isn't too bad. I guess he also makes a 4/4 now. So yeah, that's annoying. Maybe I should have played around it. Yeah, I'll be taking a lot of damage back in the meantime. I'll still play the Inkling Summoning though. Or maybe I just exile the 4/4, not sure. This card is definitely a problem. Yeah, this is not great. I'll be taking 8, 9, 10. I'll be taking too much damage. I guess he gets to make a 3/2. So I think maybe I played this incorrectly. Not sure. Or maybe the opponent just has a better deck and I'm just playing like an idiot. So I might have to just cheese him out next turn. I need a good top deck though. Or I can attack for 2 and chomp and use Reduce to Memory perhaps. We'll see. Yeah, I don't think I can beat this. Let's just concede. He has too many answers, and this 4-drop is just really strong, so... Oh well. Can't win them all. So we're stuck at the end of Tier 2 again. And overall, these games just haven't been great. These drafts just haven't been great. Made the best decisions, but, you know... Still, not getting there. I mean... We do have a couple more games to go. Only got 1 loss so far. But that game, maybe I should just play it differently. Maybe I shouldn't have attacked for the 3/3, but either way, I'd still be pretty far behind. Because in the Silverquill aggro deck, you really don't want to miss any steps. Or it can really cost you. Two drop. I guess 2 drop in the Inkling Summoning. Seems fine. Just want to curve out and use my mana efficiently and plan a 3-drop at least, so I think we hunt actually over Arrogant Bones. And we just want to grab the Inkling Summoning right away and then cast it the following turn and hopefully double spell the following turn afterwards. Could just play out the Promising Dust Mage instead. Let's say he's holding on to removal. Which one would I rather die? The Promising Dust Mage or Inkling Summoning? I'd rather have the Promising Dust Mage die. So I think I just play that out instead. And he doesn't have a removal spell, so hopefully he doesn't play a 3-drop blocker, and he doesn't, so we get the chip in for 2 at least. Can be pretty annoying if he plays lots of life gain. Could just trade here too. I actually don't mind trading. Mage Duel, that's not bad either. Okay. Now that's not good for me. So what can I do here? I guess I want to hunt for specimens and Arrogant Poets. Reduce doesn't seem great. There's a reduce to memory, which can maybe kill something. Not sure. Maybe Pest Summoning's great since I can maybe go wide, and then do I trade off my Inkling token? I think I do. Otherwise, he's just going to have this stay back in the future and block, which can be really annoying. Overall, not applying too much pressure. Yeah, that's not what we want to see. Although he is missing his land drop, so it's not that bad. Okay, let's just move to combat. I could play Pest Summoning. I actually don't hate it. It's just mana efficient. Like, I could play Arrogant Poet and I can guarantee it again for 2 next turn by flying over, but I think this is still fine. Hoping he misses his land drops, of course. Maybe see another fight spell, sure. Yeah, definitely not great here. But we'll attack and trade tokens, I don't mind. I'd eventually get rid of this anyways. Even though we do have flyers, this is okay. Could also pump the team and get him for 4, but I don't think that's necessary. If I'm playing out land because I can scry in the turn of the campus. Probably see the Witherboom Pledge Mage in the turn, we can kill it. Okay, no Witherboom Pledge Mage. Okay, that's good, that's crazy, okay. Guess I'll just lose 2 life and fly over and attack. Land can go. Professor's Warning seems okay. Still gonna attack for 2 here. Could also do something cute by putting a counter onto the 3-4 and killing him to defend the campus. I think that's just a little bit too much. So we'll just move to combat, pay 2 life, fly over. I'm fine if this swings at me, I can just swing back for a little bit more. Sedgemoor Witch, wow, that's a bomb. Wow, I don't think I can win this. The opponent's just gonna go off here. I mean, the best I can do is maybe attack all out and then use a Professor's Warning. How good is a Laurel Pledge Mage? It gives me a fine body to play the following turn, which is alright, but I probably just want a flyer. Not sure. I'm not sure this is correct. If I get another land, I might just scoop here. Sparring Regiment is perfect, thank God. Thank the Lord. Grab another Pest Summoning. Yeah, I think we just attack. I think I'm gonna get the counter to the Arrogant Poet here, actually. And if he blocks the 1/1 tokens, I'm going to use Professor's Warning to take out the Sedgemoor Witch. I didn't have to do this, actually. Maybe I should have just given this Indestructible. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Not sure. I had to let that resolve so I can kill him. I hate doing this because he has ward and I'm taking 3, but I have to. Hopefully hopefully he doesn't have his own Professor's Warning. I think again I have to go for something like this. Because this is just such an insane bomb, I have to go for it. Witherboom Pledge Mage, sure. I guess I can just make chump blockers all day and hopefully he just doesn't gain 1,000,000 life. Sure, I'll just attack with the Arrogant Poet and then fly over again. Next turn I could attack with a counter onto and use Professor's Warning. Do lose a life, I just want to chump blockers, saves me more life in the long run. And then we'll just play out Swamp to keep up Professor's Warning and Scry eventually. Now, I do lose 2 life if he decides to swing here because of Mage Hunter's Onslaught. But I think I'm still fine chumping. And then we'll fly over for 5. And then we'll chump again afterwards. I think I'm chumping and then we can scry in the turn. If he has a removal spell, that's also really bad for me. Sure. Yeah, I might just have to chump here. Falling for 1/1 isn't the worst. But I still think I double block here to prevent the most damage, and then we can scry in the turn hopefully and find something. I'm not actually gaining life from this actually because I lose because of Mage Hunter's Onslaughts. So still not good either way. So something good like Essence Infusion would be fantastic. Sure. Use even Deadly Brewing a 1/1 Pest token. Lash of Mouse is not going to do it. Might just want to upkeep Scry since I can cast something for 4 mana at least. I don't have too many expensive spells. A 5-drop of course is not a good sign too. But yeah, we're in pretty bad shape here. I think I scry here. Oh, at least it's a land. Yeah, we're probably just not gonna win this at all. Speaking of 5-drops, that's the 5-drop that I was talking about. And then now we just scoop it up and we just might have to get another draft going. Man, these drafts have just been really horrendous. Alright, let's keep this up. Might just leave the Promising Dust Mage, since if I can attack into something, I don't mind just distributing this counter on the Promising Dust Mage if he wants to go for a block with a 2-drop. Might actually be reasonable just to attack into this. Although that's not really a good creature to attack into, so yeah, I think we just want to run out. Oh, should have played white since the Lorehold Pledge Mage could have done more, but we'll run out any Promising Dust Mage. We might even use Study Break on this wall and play out Arrogant Poet next turn if we want to be mana efficient. Emergent Sequence is quite good. So he's just taking 1 a turn, which isn't great for us. Team Pendant 2 to enhance his tokens. Haven't seen this played much. Yeah, I guess we'll just attack him, and then he's going to take 1, and we'll just play out Arrogant Poet. Study Break end of turn, maybe cast a Lorehold Pledge Mage. This card is just so good on defense. I'm actually happy that he's actually just taking this extra damage. Don't know if it's going to matter in the long run, since this is just going to gain him incremental life, but I think it's fine. Yeah, I'll Study Break both of these. It's not a great Study Break since my creatures aren't doing too much, but I just want to learn here and use my mana efficiently. There's actually a reduced memory I could take. He still gets a 3/2, so it's also not great. So I think we just want to grab the Inkling Summoning token here. And then find attacking with all. I think I want to get out the Inkling Summoning just because it can fly. Play tap lands to go. Main deck Pest Summoning, okay. With the Team Pendant, I guess that's a pretty cute combo. So I might want to keep the 2/3 back just to block. Essence Infusion on the Arrogant Poet isn't too bad. I think I'd rather have this on the Arrogant Poet, so in case he ends up bouncing it, I can still like replay it eventually. So I think we just go for this. And I might just want to play out land, because I might end up playing a spell and needing to scry. I mean, you know what? Let's just stand back to land for now. Even if I top deck a land, I can still scry in the turn. Seems okay. So we have a pretty slow clock here with the Overgrown Arch. Basic Conjuration wasn't too bad. Gains him a bit of life, and he gets to put out a flyer that has Death Touch. Not bad. So I might just start attacking for 2 instead, and I do need a Lash to maybe deal with this. Land doesn't seem good. Yeah, we're just losing here. We're just doing so badly in these drafts. It's really bad. Yeah, eventually he's just going to outvalue me here. It's just so bad here. Hoping I can at least get a Lash from Mouse and deal with this eventually, but it's also not very good, since he's just gaining all this life. I guess it's Team Pendant time. I mean, I don't care if he puts it on Needlethorn Drake. Sure, I can attack for free, so that's a little bit annoying. So I might want to Lash from Mouse to deal with this. Wow, I'm losing to a Team Pendant deck. This is really saddening. This also has Vigilance. I guess he just wants to keep it back. Sure. Yep, that's a good bottom. Thank God for these Scry campuses, otherwise we'd just be drawing nothing but lands all day. Play a Combat Professor, enhance the 2/1, attack with it. Fine with the trade as well. Yeah, we'll just attack for 3. I don't see a reason to trade the 4-3 here. Hopefully no big scary spells. This is definitely the weirdest deck I've played against so far. Like, it's still doing pretty well against me, but like, it's definitely not a deck that I might have played against too much. Wow, even Spine Karok. Okay, this guy is definitely going all in, and I actually don't mind trading out the Arrogant Poet if he's attacking. If not, I guess I'm fine just keep swinging in the 3-2. Guiding Voice isn't too bad. So I guess I could just Guiding Voice this attack with both. Or maybe still attack with the 2-3 and prompt a trade. I guess I can Guiding Voice and then use the Reduce to Memory. Maybe that's just better. Yeah, that's way better. Yeah, let's definitely Guiding Voice on, I guess, the token here, and then use Reduce to Memory on the 3-3. So then we can exile the Flying Death Touch creature. I don't know why people play this card. It's really not that great in this set, guys. Are you seriously conceding? I mean, wow. I mean, against a better Quandrix deck, I would have totally been absolutely destroyed. But this was definitely a weird matchup. Not gonna lie. Okay, I think we're keeping this. Sparring Regiment in the opening hand is great. The best case result is a top deck either a 2-drop or a 1-drop to go along with it, but I mean, with a Promising Dust Mage in the Sparring Regiment, that's even better. So I can't really complain about this. Opponent also has a slow start, so it's not the worst. And yeah, let's just leave the Promising Dust Mage. Might actually take the more mana-efficient approach next turn and play Combat Professor, depending on what he plays. Yeah, I might just do that. I could run into a Negate or Reject, whichever one is fine, but I think I'd rather just be mana-efficient. I can't really play around any of those. Maybe Arrogant Poet can, but the Combat Professor is just, again, better. Could be holding up an Arcane Subtraction. Sure, I guess I don't really even need to attack here. Yeah, it's not going to do anything, just say go. Land would be insane. I can play Sparring Regiment into Arrogant Poet, put a counter onto the Promising Dusk Mage. And I think I'd rather just do it on the Dusk Mage since, I mean, I guess he's not going to have mana for Burying Books. So opponent playing a greedy mana base here, but it might work out in his favor if I don't kill him quickly. And by the way, guys, this really isn't that bad of a 3-drop. Yes, it's not the most optimal 3-drop. You'd rather just have Silverquill Pledge Mages and the Shadewing Laureates. But keep in mind, if you can put a counter onto this, having just a 3-4 that trades itself when it dies really isn't that bad of a card. So just keep in mind that this card is actually quite good. I mean, not quite good, but not bad. Not a bad card. It's not by any means unplayable. I guess we just want to grab like Inkling Summoning here. Move the combat. I think we want to put the counter onto the Promising Dust Mage first. Since if this ends up dying, at least I can draw a card with it, so I think this is a priority. And then we can start loading up counters onto our other creatures. But I think his #1 threat to take out is the Combat Professor for sure. So I might not want to load counters onto this. Because he can easily have a Burying Books, and if he has a Burying Books, I'd rather just lose the Arrogant Poet, since it's cheaper to cast. Yeah, it's definitely Burying Books. I need to play around it. In order to play around Burying Books, I think I want to put a counter onto Arrogant Poet and then put the power on it. So if he bounces the Arrogant Poet, it isn't the worst. Definitely think we attack with all. And he could have like a big play to block my Combat Professor, but I can respond with a Defend the Campus. So I think we want to do this approach and then hit a 2 life to fly over. And again, if he has big play, I'll just cast Defend the Campus and take this out. But if it's Burying Books, yeah, I don't mind just having this bounced, honestly. And we can still get in for a maximum amount of damage. This is the strategy called, I guess, spreading the rewards or something. I forgot. There it is. There goes Burying Books. Sure. So we played around quite nicely. I think we need to eventually put counters onto the Promising Dust Mage as well. So if he tries to use some sort of ambush trick, I can still like attack past it, but we'd still have to Defend the Campus to answer it as well, so it's not the worst. I could also just keep this back. It's actually not unreasonable as well. Alright, the flyer's annoying. I guess he has a trick for the Combat Professor. This is the reason why he's keeping it up. Pretty interesting. I'll take 3 for sure. And then I think I want to put a counter on the Combat Professor. He probably has a second Burying Books. I could also just play around second Fairy by putting a counter here and then using Defend the Campus. But I still think it's probably just better overall to go in with the Combat Professor here, or not. Either way, I think we're still attacking. Yeah. Because I mean, how else am I supposed to advance the state of the game? Do I just pass the turn and do nothing? Seems pretty bad. And if he does have a berry, I'll happily just drop the Pillar Rescuer, even though I don't get any value off of it. It's still a 2/2 flyer that I might need. Just takes it, okay. Is the opponent holding on to some sort of board wipe or something? I mean, I don't think there's a board wipe in the Teamer colors, so I think I'll just play out a Pillar Drop Rescuer, as unexciting as it sounds. 0 value, but that's fine. Okay, he's holding up a Pop Quiz. I think I would have traded a Frost Trickster there, not sure. Basic Conjuration to gain him some life. But again, he needs to deal with my flying threats. And I was also surprised he locked down the Promising Dust Mage. I guess he wanted to be aggressive to 3/3, but still I think it was better to lock down the flyer. Sure. He can hit me for 3. I can swing back and pump the team if I want to. Yeah, I could just swing with the team here. I actually don't mind that. Yeah, let's just do that. Could put the extra power here in case he ends up double blocking. Could also just put on the Pillar Drop Rescuer. Maybe that's not too bad. And then we can move to combat, swing the team, and then which one do I want to untap? I think the Pillar Drop Rescuer, so I can give it 3 toughness so he can't get a good block in. I could also use Defend the Campus and blow him out. And I guess that's lethal, right? No, it isn't lethal. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's lethal if nothing happens here. And I don't think there's any 1 mana trick other than Shock that can maybe do something. But Shock, there's other than Lightning Bolt. I mean, Lightning Bolt can deal with this. So I think we just use the pump spell to try to finish the game here. Yeah, just get it for 9. Sparring Regiment is just such a busted card. Might have actually considered main decking the 2 mana 1/2 just for it. Again, it's not a great card, but the Sparring Regiment is just insane with flying creatures overall. Alright, 4 and 2, not the best, but hopefully we can get a couple more wins. As long as we have an above average win rate, past 3 wins to 3 losses, we should be able to get the Mythic on time. And then we can have some pretty fun games at the highest levels. I mean, the highest rankings, I mean. Not necessarily the highest levels, because there's definitely better drafters out there who also play better, but, you know. Alright, seems okay. We have Lash, Arrogant Poets, Hunt. Seems fine. Killing would be amazing. If I get 3rd land, I'd rather cast Hunt for specimens. So I think I would play Hunt instead of Arrogant Poets. Sure, I don't get the extra damage in, but the Inkling Summon curving out seems a lot better. Alright, because I could Lash into Arrogant Poets. Maybe it's better to Arrogant Poet then. Like in this scenario, Lash wouldn't be too bad. Might just Lash and hit for 1 since the life gain's a little bit annoying. So maybe playing out the Arrogant Poet was better since I could have gotten for 2 damage as opposed to 1. Hoping I get a land eventually. Not a bad blocker. Alright, at least we can fly over. But this will halt some of our ground progress, but our game plan is to again fly over. If he has an Essence Infusion, that's going to be a little bit annoying here. And I might actually chump this if there's an Essence Infusion. Team Pendant again? Is this another Team Pendant deck? I'm going to get owned by a Team Pendant deck, guys. This feels bad. Finally get a 3-drop here. Yeah, let's just Inkling Summoning. Not even sure if I should even attack here. Probably not. Stay back. Do I triple block this? I lose all my creatures, which doesn't sound great. So I probably have to take another 3 again, maybe swing back for 2, and maybe find an answer to this. It's funny how this Team Pendant is actually doing a lot of work in this type of deck. I mean, for him. Moldering Karok, that's even worse with the summoning. Think I just attack for 2 and cast Study Break end of turn? Sure. I mean, on his attack steps. I don't really want to pay the 2 life since he can eventually gain some of it back. But I do need to buy some time while I can. Maybe I just need to get the Reduced to Memory and answer this Team Pendant. Although he does get a creature back, which is kind of bad for me still. And this is what happens when you miss your land drop, guys. If he has a fight spell, this is even worse. So a lot of things can go wrong here. I might have to find the exiled spell, I think. As much as I don't mind going wide with a bunch of pest summoning tokens, we again might have to find the exile spell to stay alive here. As much as I hate to do it, I think this has to be the choice. Blood Researcher with the Life Gain is insane. Amplimancer is... okay, this is bad. I guess I'll cast a Promising Dust Mage and maybe set up a triple or double block on their Moldering Karok. I can Guiding Voice, but again, that's not going to do much. We'll just attack for 2 for now, and then just maybe set up a double block with the Promising Dust Mage. Blood Researcher gets to grow. But yeah, this is not looking good. Or maybe I can double block the Blood Researcher. He can activate the Reckless Amplimancer. I'm hoping he attacks with a Blood Researcher, but I guess he isn't going to, so we might as well double block here. And then, do we chump here? I guess I don't mind the chump. Actually, maybe I should have put the Pest Summoning here and put the 2-1 in front of here to make him use his mana. I don't know. It's still bad. It's all really bad. This is all really bad. And even Mortality Spear to blow me out. Yeah, GG's. Okay. I'm not wasting my time. Okay, not the best draft so far, even opening up a nice sparring regiment, but not getting past the goodies I need for my deck to be optimal. So we'll just keep firing off another draft. Hopefully this time we can get to 7. But so far, you know, we're not doing too badly, but also not great. So let's keep firing some more off. Pack 1, pick 1. Can we finally get to 7 wins? Can we finally get to top 10 Mythic? And the rare sucks. The uncommon, the best one's Humiliates. Might even be better than Mentor's Guidance. The best common is a Eureka Moment. Yeah, there's no flexible great option in this pack. I might just take the Humiliate and force Silverquill here, given how powerful it is. And yeah, there's also Eureka Moment, but these tend to wheel. Not a great pack. Like, the more flexible options aren't too exciting. Mentor's Guidance can be fine with Magecraft, but outside of it, it's not even that good. Serpentine Curve, I guess, is kind of flexible. Goes pretty good, well in Quandrix, Best, and Prismari. Arrogant Pose and Medium 2-drop. Introduction, fine lesson, but one of the more weaker ones. I think I'll just first pick Humiliate. It's really nice. It's cheap and efficient. Silverquill is tier 1. And yeah, being able to snipe the opponent's hand and put a counter onto the creature is quite good. So we'll take a 2-color card, pack 1, pick 1. Counterspell is nice. There's also Mortality Spear and Mage Hunter's Onslaught and Expand Anatomy. Wow, this pack is really stacked. Following up Humiliate, I think we just want to take either Expand Anatomy or Mage Hunter's Onslaught. I think Mage Hunter's Onslaught has a lot more flexibility than Mortality Spear. And Counterspell, I think it's kind of close between these two. Maybe slightly better since it's cheaper, but I mean, still, the thing is, it doesn't go well with our first pick. So I could just take Mage Hunter's Onslaught here and cut off black, and it's a pretty fine removal spell. Expand Anatomy does also play well in an aggressive deck, but I don't mind just taking Mage Hunters just to send a signal that we want to cut off black, and this is still a very good removal spell. Pilgrim of the Ages is also a really good 3-drop in the Silverquill decks, which I don't mind picking up later. Better in Lorehold, where you can be a little bit more grindy, but I think we just want as much removal as we can in these Silverquill decks to close out the game. So we'll take a Mage Hunter, and we can still end up in Witherbloom. Yeah, we'll take Mage Hunter's Onslaught here. Eliminate, that's excellent. So black is open. Unfortunately, had to take Eliminate over Environmental Sciences. If this was pack 1, pick 1, I would snap pick Environmental Sciences over Eliminate, since it just provides me so much options. Given that I first picked Humiliate, I definitely want to just lean towards black now, and Eliminate is a great removal spell. Also pretty late Master Symmetrist. I mean, pick 3 Master Symmetrist. So it's a sign that maybe Witherbloom is open, but we'll take Eliminate for sure. The Cauldron's pretty bad. Ooh, I do like Thunderous Orator, Guiding Voice, and Expanded Anatomy. I mean, these are all really good. I think these are all very crucial in the Silverquill decks. Man, Guiding Voice is just so excellent. But Thunderous Orator is also a very good 2-drop in the Silverquill decks. And right now we do have a ton of removal spells. I'm hoping I can maybe pick up a Guiding Voice later, because Thunderous Orator is just a very good 2-drop. I could also just take Expand Anatomy to maybe stay open. in case I end up in Winterbloom, but I think the power level of Thunderous Orator is quite high in the Silverquill decks. So we'll actually take the Thunderous Orator here, and hopefully we do end up drafting Silverquill. Take a bit of a risk here instead of staying open, since this is just such a great 2-drop in Silverquill, and second Humiliate's fantastic. Don't mind 2 copies of it. Leash Fanatic's also a pretty good 2-drop, but we can pick one up later. There's also Mage Duel as a fine fight spell. Pretty good too, but we'll just take our Silverquill cards. And when in doubt, force Silverquill aggro, and we'll take Pilgrimage Aegis here. I almost thought this was the other red-white card, Plarg, and I think the 3 mana, that 1/3 that gives your toughness +1 if it's untapped, and power +1 if it's tapped, but it's not. But Pilgrimage Aegis is a pretty nice 3-drop. Helps us hit our lands. That's pretty good. Could maybe consider Essence Infusion, Introduction, Annihilation could also be okay, but we do have a decent amount of removal already, so don't need to prioritize an okay lesson. Arrogant Poet is a nice 2-drop. Field Trip also pretty late, so Winterbloom's also open, but I think we just want Arrogant Poet to fly over with the Thunderous Orator, and pretty late Inkling Summoning. Great sign that Silverquill is open, so I'm kind of glad that I just forced Silverquill by taking Humiliate, pack 1, pick 1. Otherwise, it would have been a Eureka moment. But yeah, this is great. Hopefully we can find a way to learn and grab this. As easily the best creature lesson in the set, along with Fractal Summoning. So we definitely want more creatures to go along with these Humiliates. I mean, to at least get value with them. Like, I don't mind turn 2 Humiliate without putting a counter, but obviously it's going to be better if we can put a counter onto our creature. And yep, speaking of 2-drop creatures, we need more 2-drops. Arrogant Poet is best in the Silverquill deck. Again, I talked about Promising Dusk Mage. It's not unplayable, guys. Come on. Like, having a 3/4 is, again, a fine body, and you can still trade off for it. Does seem better than Detention Vortex, which doesn't even trigger Magecraft. And it just plays pretty good with Humiliate and Future Guiding Voices we can pick up, so... Promising Dusk Mage, I'm always fine with 1 copy. I'll never play 2 copies, but 1 could always be okay. It's like a reasonable body on the ground, and then, again, if you can enhance it with a counter, it can be a pretty big nuisance the opponent has to eventually deal with. Essence Infusion does seem better than Defend the Campus. Usually, since we already have Mage Hunter's Onslaught on 4, I don't need to prioritize Defend the Campus. Defend the Campus is probably pretty much a worse version of Mage Hunter's Onslaught, and on 4 you definitely want more creatures than instances in Sorcery, so I'll take an Essence Infusion. Pretty good if you can pick up multiple 1-drops to go along with it. Professor's Warning, always 1 copy is fine in these Silverquill decks. Don't know if I'll ever play 2 copies, but 1 is always fine. And yeah, we're just committed to Silverquill for sure. I highly doubt we're going to move towards something else. This pack is awful. We could consider Radiant Scroll Wielder. I mean, otherwise, Show of Confidence is okay. I don't think it's like an amazing uncommon for the Silverquill deck. It's going to be at its best in Silverquill, but it's not too different from like an Essence Infusion, honestly. There's another Pilgrimage Aegis, but I don't need to prioritize the second one. Radiant Scroll Wielder is just so powerful. Imagine it being able to just loop back, get an Inkling Summoning or one of our removal spells. Might consider splashing it, might not. But if we do open up a Lorehole Campus, I can kind of speculate. Overall, it's the best card in this pack, so I'm going to take it. Otherwise, I would have happily taken like an Outland Shield Mage, or even another Inkling Summoning Token, or a Mage Hunter's Onslaught, or Lash of Mouse over it, but we'll take the 4-drop for now. Guiding Voice is great. There's another Mage Hunter's Onslaught, but I think we just want our first copy of Guiding Voice in this deck to help us learn for our Inkling Summoning Token. Just one of the best white commons in the set. The Reduce the Memory could wheel. Highly doubt Mage Hunter is going to wheel, but the Outland Shield Mage I've actually seen wheel pretty late as well. But again, I think the Guiding Voice is the most important common that we kind of need in the Silverquill decks. And Eager First Year is also a decent 2-drop, but Lash of Mouse gives us a Black Shock. So it's good. It's good to have cheap early interaction in this set, since most removal don't start until turn 3. The nice thing about Silverquill is that you have removal with Eliminate on turn 2 and then Lash on turn 1. And then against opposing Silverquill decks, it's important to have Lash just to deal with their other opposing 2-drops. Whereas like in Prismari, you have to open up a Shock, which is a rare mystical archive card, and the Heated Debates don't start until turn 3. Not against Prismari, but like sometimes the Silverquill just has a better early game, and then the Lash is really nice, so we'll take it here. I actually think the Eager First Year is better than Strict Proctor. Sure, it's a flyer, it stops triggered abilities, but we also have a Pilgrim of the Ages that wants to fetch lands, maybe future cards that want to have triggered abilities, and the 1/3 really doesn't hit really hard. Whereas the Eager First Year, if it goes uncontested and we can just load up counters and humiliate on it, it can just hit in for a lot. So Eager First Year is a pretty nice 2-drop for the Silverquill decks that I'm always happy to play. I'm also happy with Hunt for Specimens, allowing us to make it easier to learn our Inkling Summoning. Definitely better than Spirit Summoning. Wouldn't mind Spirit Summoning, but it's one of the more weaker lessons. Retriever Phoenix also quite good, but I'm not splashing for it. Let's just take a Hunt. And then hopefully we can pick up more 4-drops. Not sure if I'll play 2 copies of this. This is a pretty bad 4-drop that I'll never play. This is a fine rare, but I'll take a Promising Dusk Mage. Not sure if I'll play the 2nd copy. If we have 0 3-drops, I might consider it. Here I'm just going to take Allen Shield Mage. We have double Humiliate already. Too much hand disruption can be kind of bad, since in the late game it gets worse, since they're just going to end up emptying their hand. The earlier you play your hand disruption spells, the better. But again, it can sometimes the opposing opponent can just empty their hand, and it's not going to be great. But yeah, I think we just want Allen Shield Mage to ensure we have something at 5. And do I need the 2nd Arrogant Poet? Might not need the 2nd Arrogant Poet. Might prefer maybe an Exhilarating Elocution as a fine pump spell. In the late game, I mean, we do have a couple of 2s already. I do want to diversify with Leash Fanatics and not necessarily a million Arrogant Poets, so we'll take an Exhilarating Elocution. Maybe it can replace his Radiant Scroll Wielder. And wow, Show of Confidence Wield. Might end up actually playing this. Pretty good Guiding Voice, Professor's Warding, and some of our cheap instances and sorceries. But it's all, it might not be necessary. I guess I can maybe take a Reduce to Memory, since I already have an Arrogant Poet. There's also Divine Strike, which is a fine payoff. Fine if we have more Magecraft, but we have a lot of 1-mana instances already. Let's just take Reduce on the sideboard. And I don't need to prioritize the second. Whatchamacallit, Arrogant Poet. Pretty late Academic Dispute too. This card is pretty good as well. So I could use a Leech Fanatic, could use some good 3s, some good 4s. I think the 3-drop and the 4-drop department is what we need to focus on, and then we should be fine. Could even cut like one of these cards for like a removal spell, at least maybe a 2nd Mage Hunter's Onslaught, or the Closing Statement that puts a counter when it kills something. Since we have the first pick a Radiant Scroll Wheeler, which might not even make the cut. This is better off in like a Prismari or like some sort of Jeskai control deck, or Mardu control with a lot of removals, since it doesn't really play well like a Professor's Warning or Guiding Voice necessarily, but still a really powerful card that you can build around. I guess I'll take another Inkling Summoning. There's a 1-drop, a 5-drop, but I just want more Inkling Summonings, and yeah, hopefully we find more ways to learn. Yeah, let's just take it here. Otherwise, like a 1-drop, hopefully we can wheel. Same with the 5-drop. We'll take Inkling Summoning here. Do I take a second one? I think I like it. I think I like it over the Spirit, but although I might just want the Unwilling Ingredient now, given that 2 Inkling Summonings already, we might not have enough Learn to enable the 3rd copy. And the Unwilling Ingredient is a really nice 1-drop where we can curve out with like a Humiliate or the Essence Infusion. So I think the Unwilling Ingredient gets the nod here. And then Combat Professor, finally we got a good 4-drop, thank God. Otherwise we'd be looking at this Pest Summoning here. But yeah, thank God for Combat Professor. Was hoping I can eventually get one of these at 4. The 3s are definitely lacking though, but hopefully we can pick up some Learn cards to curve out with the Inkling Summoning. I guess Closing Statement is just too good here to pass up. There's also Leech Fanatic, but yeah, we're not passing over Closing Statement. We're not taking over Closing Statement, I mean. There's our 3-drop, thank God. Otherwise, I'd be looking at Pillar Drop Rescuer or Brooded Bloom Pledge Mage. But Silverquill Pledge Mage is really nice here. I don't think we're splashing for Radiant Scroll Wielder as good as it seems. I think we just want to be straight up black-white so we can curve out much more consistently. Take another one. Why not? Sign and Blitz is also reasonable. It's definitely an upgrade over Crushing Disappointments, but I still think we need a good creature here. And another Guiding Voice seems excellent. There's also Reflective Golem, which is going to be at its best in this Silverquill deck. We do have a couple of ways to copy some of the counters, but not much. We have like an Essence Fusion, maybe Guiding Voice, Professor's Warning, and Show of Confidence, but maybe I just want a second Guiding Voice. This can allow me to grab my second Inkling Summoning much more easily, and it also improves my Promising Dusk Mage, which I'm actually kind of planning to play. And here, could maybe take a Cram Session, since we already have one copy of Pilgrim of the Ages. Maybe I just take a bad Star Pupil here. Not a great card, but can give me an extra 1-drop to curve out with, since we're trying to be kind of aggressive, so maybe that's fine. And then we can maybe run 16 lands, who knows. I actually don't mind a Pillar Drop Warden at 5. It does seem better. And then we can maybe cut Exhilarating Elocution and just throw an Essence Infusion in this type of deck, since it's nice to curve out 1-drop in Essence Infusion. I guess we have 25 cards here. We can also just run 15 lands if we're crazy enough. I'm actually not opposed to 15 lands, but if we're going to be learning, it can be a little bit too difficult. So we could just cut maybe Show of Confidence from the deck. It really depends on the amount of instances of sorceries we have. I do like just a Professor's Warning as some way to kind of help protect our creature. And then the rest of these seem good. I could also just cut Essence Infusion. But it's so good if you can just Essence Infusion on a 2-drop or 1-drop without having the show of Confidence requirement. So maybe it's just better just to cut it and take it and go with something like this. Go 16 lands, aggro. And I do like the Star Pupil in this type of deck, unlike the previous one, since we have ways to put counters onto our creatures over the other one, since it can at least distribute counters when it ends up dying. So yeah, I think we just want to be hyper aggressive and go 16 lands in this type of deck, and just try to kill them as quickly as possible. So I'm kind of liking this. The more weaker card would probably be the Professor's Warning anyways, but I don't know what I would cut it for. I like the double Humiliate in this type of deck just to have that early hand disruption and something to cast on turn 2. The 1-drops are fine, 2-drops look fine, 3s are good. The 4s, there's definitely a gap, but at least, you know, there's a removal spell on the flyer, and then the 5s look okay. These are more of our 2 weaker cards in terms of ways of learning. We have 3 ways to learn. And then how many lessons? I think we have like 4 or 3 lessons. I guess 3 lessons, so this seems fine. We're more interested in grabbing the Inkling Summoning, of course. So maybe if we're deciding from the main board to replace something, which card are we trying to replace? There's an Exhilarating Elocution. Better if we have more creatures, of course. But kind of awkward, especially if you don't have a lot of creatures on battlefield and you rather just Essence Infusion on right away. So I think it could be worse than Essence Infusion. There's a Crushing Disappointment, but we don't really care about card advantage. We're just a curve out aggro deck. Again, I guess the only option is like between Show of Confidence and Essence, and I think Essence is just better since it puts two counters right away, and we don't necessarily need to cast an instant or sorcery to storm off of it. And usually this is just going to end up putting 2 counters. Like sometimes you get lucky and you end up putting 3 counters, but it's not likely. So I think we just run something like this. Keep our pump spells cheap, and then just go something like this. Even Split seems fine. Wish I had a Campus, but unfortunately didn't get any. So let's fire this off and see how it goes. And maybe this time, I think this deck might just be better than the previous one we have had, since we have more removal here. And it's kind of similar in terms of the creatures, but again with the extra removal. And the extra 1-drops, I feel like it's just going to be more consistent. We even managed to go 4-3 with the previous Silverquill deck. So it actually wasn't that bad, but it wasn't very good. Alright, opening hand. Could use some black mana. If we have black mana, this is good. If we don't, the worst thing is, like, I guess a Pilgrim on turn 3 getting a Plains. I still think we need black mana, so I think I'm going to mulligan here and then bomb anything expensive. Although I love all these cards. Man, I love all these cards. Why does it have to be this hand? Maybe I do just need to ditch this Guiding Voice. And, yeah, I think I might have to ditch this Guiding Voice or Unwilling Ingredient. But Unwilling Ingredient is so important to have in the early game. The most greediest play would be to discard a land. I mean, that's not the worst. I mean, let's just say we turn one Unwilling Ingredient and Guiding Voice on it, get our third land draw for Silverquill Pledge Mage. I think it might still be too risky, though, so maybe we do have to bomb the Guiding Voice as much as I hate to say it. And then just leave one drop into two drop, one drop into 3 drop into 4 drop, hopefully. I'd be pretty disappointed if we top deck another land now. Since I don't want too many lands, but, you know. Alright. This is not looking good. Could be holding on to a shock. Lots of things. Guiding Voice would have been pretty amazing with the Silverquill Pledge Mage. Maybe bombing the Unwilling Ingredient was just better, but I just like having that one drop that we can curve out with and just shock this end of turn since he's holding on to priority. He might even have Arcane Subtraction just a cycle too, but we'll see. Yeah, just a Curate, sure. So probably ditching these two just to improve the chances of him getting a land. Alright, let's drop the Combat Professor and hope for the best. I think I want to pump the Unwilling Ingredient because if he does bounce the Silverquill Pledge Mage, at least I can get in for the extra point of damage. Okay, it's not the worst. I mean, it's still going to deal 1 and at least it trades. Okay. Pretty much a heated debate in a sense. Not sure if giving this Vigilance or the Combat Professor Vigilance was the right call because I might want to chump the 2/2 and then draw a card end of turn, so not sure if that was correct. Okay, another flyer. Okay, so that's going to put a halt to my Arrogant Professor, my Arrogant Poet. So I might just want to pump the Unwilling Ingredient here, and then trade off my Arrogant Poet. Yeah, let's just do this, and hope for the best. Fine trading here with the Arrogant Poet and not paying the 2 life. Hopefully he doesn't have anything annoying here. I don't mind this trade, seems fine. I didn't even have to get this flying. And we could get in for 4 here. Fine playing out the land, Sigo. Serpentine Curve, okay. Question is, do I block this? I don't think so. I mean, I might just pump this next turn and trade for the 3/2. And then draw a card. I actually don't hate that. Or I might just attack for 3. Maybe attacking for 3 in the air is just better in the long run. And then I can just play a Thunderous Orator. I can chump the 4/4 and then draw a card off of this. Or I can still keep it around just to have the extra attacker. Him dealing with Combat Professor isn't great though, so we'll see. Pillar Drop Warden, so I definitely need the extra flyer. Okay, Silverquill Pledge Mage. I think I'm going to pump the Thunderous Orator and just attack with the Thunderous Orator, because if he deals my Combat Professor, this is going to be a huge blowout. Actually, let's just attack with both. I mean, he's just going to block the 2/3, so maybe attacking with the 3/2 is still fine. Yeah, it's mass because of the Unwilling Ingredient, and we'll just play a Silverquill Pledge Mage and hopefully cheese him out. He doesn't seem to have any removal, so that's good news for me. I guess he can stack this and bring back the whatchamacallit, the Snow Day for the turn. Electrolyze, okay. Surprised he didn't take out the Thunderous Orator, because this allows me to draw a card. Yeah, I think he should maybe taken out the Orator, but I would still kill him, I guess, if he doesn't have an answer to my 3/1. Intro to Annihilation, I guess he can cast. It's not the worst, okay. I guess I'll lose this and then Still end up drawing a card. This gives me more chances to attack back, hopefully. Now he can be more aggressive. Let's just cycle the Unwilling Ingredient, take 4. Star Pupil, not the best, but I'm hoping I can get across here. Not sure. I can Lash of Malice and attack for 2, but that doesn't do anything. So I could just play Star Pupil, play the Swamp, and say go. I'm hoping I can attack back and Lash the 1/5. I can even chump the 4/4 and put a counter here. And then I can attack into this and Lash it, which could be fine, not sure. Lashing this isn't the worst, but he can always get something back. Let's just say go. Pillar Drop Rescuer was nice, so now we can Pillar Drop Rescuer. And then I guess I want to... this is a little bit odd. So I can have multiple flyers. Yeah, just grab the Silverquill Pleasure Mage here and then just cast it. I can also attack with the Star Pupil to put a counter onto the Thunderous Orator. Not sure if that's correct. He's probably playing to sacrifice his Pillar Drop Warden using Electrolyze the next following turn, which I might still be fine with. We'll see. Might actually send the Star Pupil since it can give me an extra counter onto the Thunderous Orator, and then I'll have 2/3 powered creatures that can fly across. Yeah, let's just put on the Pillar Drop Warden for now. So we have 3 power on it, so I can send in both creatures and attack him for 3 next turn. He might have an instant here to blow me out, but we'll see. Yeah, any Explosive Welcome is just kind of game over here, unless I can deal with this. Basically, this is the only thing that's in my way. Yeah, I guess he's just going to draw a million cards. So now he has a million answers to just kill all my creatures. I'm hoping he doesn't get anything good, but it's highly unlikely. Teach, okay, we're just dead here, right? If he's going to play a sweeper or answer all my flowers, I'm just going to concede, yeah. Let's just not waste our time. Just gave him too much time here. Pretty disappointing defeat, but what can I do? The Pillar Drop Warden definitely saved in that game. Alright, seems fine. It seems like a more defensive hand, but it has good playables early on, so I can deploy it like a Promising Dust Mage and maybe put an Essence Infusion onto it. So we'll see. Don't need to show him white mana just yet. Can eliminate End of Turn or Lash, play out Promising Dust Mage, put some counters onto it, could be pretty nice. Hunt would have been great on turn 2, but we'll just leave the Promising Dust Mage. Could even see this being rejected. Frost Trickster tapping down, so I think I'm going to lash this and play Essence Infusion. I mean, hunt for specimens. This is a perfectly fine target. And we just want to grab an Inkling Summoning Token. Prime Sessions, sure. That's fine. He has the Swamp and Forest. Double Swamps. We didn't see the Eliminate in the first matchup, so I think it's fine. Just, I mean, I could have went for the Essence Infusion, but I think this could just be better here. So I can go wide instead of going all in with a single creature. Because he still could have removal here, like it eliminates. Alright, he had Lash. Star People of Essence Infusion could also be kind of nice. Maybe he's just going to take out the Eliminate, sure. Don't mind just attacking with both here. Orator seems fine, and we can still keep up a Professor's Warning. So some sort of Sultai deck. He probably has like a Crux of Fate or Liliana. That can definitely that can definitely be very scary. Pillar Drop Rest Pilgrim of the Ages is quite good. I think we still just attack with all and see what's up. I think I just make this indestructible. It's not that bad. And see what he does. He might have a bounce spell here, like a Burying Books. Because he didn't cast the Introduction to Prophecy. So he's just gonna try to blow me out here, sure. Sure. At least it's gone. So he probably has another instant here. Okay, that's a good one. So I probably just want to develop my land drops here by playing the Pilgrim of the Ages. And then playing out the Pillar Drop Rescuer next turn, giving me a flyer, and then I can just maybe grab back my 2/2 that can fly. But opponent is definitely playing a good game against me here. Okay, so he's just going to gain a ton of value off of this now. It's not great. And he gets to just draw cards all day, so yeah, we just need to fly over with the flyers, I think, in order to win this. So we'll just play this out. And we'll just have to play a slow clock here. Find double blocking here. Eventually he's just going to be able to find his bombs and everything and close out the game, so we do need to just chip in as much evasive damage as possible. Fractal Summoning we can answer with an Eliminate, so I don't necessarily want to eliminate the Quandrix Apprentice. The Fractal Summoning I think is going to become the bigger problem that we need to deal with. Alright, let's move to combat. Could play Arrogant Poet and Thunderous Orator. But I think that the 5-drop here is fine. Just putting out more flyers to help us close out the game. He's drawing a ton of cards, but he needs to eventually gain a ton of life or kill me quickly. Okay, Containment Breach, that doesn't actually answer anything I have, thank God. I guess last game, if I had the Sparring Regiment, that would have been a problem. I actually don't mind. Yeah, if he wants to tap this down, he needs to pay the ward, which isn't great. So I could eliminate this and attack for 8s, but he can just... yeah, I don't mind this since I have chump blockers, so I don't mind just eliminating this. Or put a counter. I guess a counter doesn't hurt. I mean, I'll let you know Crux of Fate is going to win him the game, but I don't think I play around it at this stage in the game. And I think we try to kill him next turn with an Eliminate. Crux of Fate is going to win the game, but we don't play around Crux of Fate at this stage. Okay. I think I need to eliminate the Frost Trickster. Yep. So can I kill him here? He's going to be at 8. So I think we win here. Because we can just eliminate the Frost Trickster and just fly over and kill him, so yep. Yep. Pretty surprised the opponent couldn't find an answer or anything. He had a lot of card advantage, but that's the weakness of Quandrix. There's just not a ton of removal running around. That's why the Mage Duel is very important to pick up after your first field trips. And once you know that you're in Quandrix, the Mage Duels do become a higher priority. Like, at the very least, they can tap things down and stall and maybe get in a huge attack, but there's also pest tokens and chump blockers in this set. So it's not always the most reliable way to steal a game. Ooh, Hunt, Promising Dust Mage, Guiding Voice, Lash seems great. Definitely keep up Lash and Mouse first, and I'm probably going to save the Humiliate to go along with the Promising Dust Mage or a creature. So I don't necessarily want to Humiliate. Humiliate does get rid of pest tokens, but I'm not really concerned about it right now. It's better to get value off of the Humiliate and have a counter onto my creature instead. I don't mind trading a pest. Opponent's just ramping, sure. Next turn we can snipe his Inkling Summoning token with the Lash, and then my own Inkling Summoning. I guess we can Lash, Guiding Voice, and Humiliate in the same turn. So that's also an option. Opponent's just ramping, but not playing anything at least. So maybe it's better to just get the Inkling Summoning online while I can. And take it slow. Pillar Drop Rescuer. I could Humiliate here, but I think I just like Guiding Voice and the Inkling Summoning. And then we'll Humiliate them next turn for sure. And maybe we can snipe a Bookworm. But he can always get like a Bookworm back. Pestilent Cauldron. Haven't seen this card being played. So he's probably going to go for some sort of combo where he can make me mill cards. Not sure if that's the most optimal strategy. But I'll definitely Humiliate here for sure. And yeah, Inkling Summoning can go. Put a counter here. And I think we're going to attack with all. I don't mind if he mills me for 1. It's not going to win him the game. This is definitely probably the weirdest draft I've seen so far. Yeah, I think his game plan is to mill me by making me lose life. But I don't think that's optimal unless you have Weather to Storm. But that's another Mystical Archive rare that's not easy to grab. And right now he's just out of steam, so... And, you know, there's a chance he just ends up milling lands, and I have 5 lands already, so I should be able to cast most of my spells. So don't ever play this card, guys. I mean, the other half of it isn't too bad, since you can actually return some permanents back from the graveyard to the battlefield, like creatures and planeswalkers and lands. But it still can't bring instances and sorceries. Sure. I mean, that's not even that good, to be honest. I guess it does make my Pillar Drop Rescuer worse, but it's not necessarily a good line of play. Let's just move to combat attack with it all. And I think I'm fine playing out the Thunderous Orator, keeping up Lash. It's almost a Pillar Drop Rescuer, but we can still keep up black mana at least. Him exiling the graveyard doesn't have any significance to my Pillar Drop Rescuers since there's no creatures in the yard. Sure. So I guess it's a little bit of card advantage in the late game, but still doesn't look great. I think I actually lashed this 1/1. How much do I attack for? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, down to 6. Or I can still take it slow. I think I'm fine lashing here. Might not be the right play. Sure. I don't really care though. It's still just a random chump blocker. And I think I actually keep up the closing statements. There's a chance he has Crux of Fate, so I don't want to play into that. We'll just pass the turn. And I'll keep the land just in case he has Go Blank, which is definitely a card these black players' main deck. But we should be able to kill him with these flowers next turn, so I don't really need to worry too much. Hello? I can utter jump. Yeah, I don't know what this opponent's doing. Yeah, don't try this, guys. I mean, you can sometimes cheese them out with a trample creature or evasive creature, but don't play on a 1/1 token. That's just so embarrassing. It doesn't even trample, and I have a 2/2 that can chump it. So yeah, I don't even know what's going on. That was definitely the weirdest deck I've played against throughout my entire draft. Throughout my entire experience doing Strixhaven draft. There were a couple weird ones, but this one was definitely one of the more weirder ones. One of the more weirder ones. Weird. I think weird is the correct pronunciation. Okay, 1 drop, 2 drop, hopefully get black mana, seems okay. And loading up a counter onto this is also pretty nice. Definitely need black mana, otherwise this hand won't work. But high risk, high reward, right? I need black mana to snipe his creature. Okay, black mana is good, so I could Essence Infusion into this, but I think we just want the creatures out first, right? I can also Humiliate, put a counter onto this, which could also be fine. Like, an early Humiliate isn't too bad, especially on a 1/1, and I can snipe the removal spell if it targets it, so I think this is okay. Bookworm I don't want to discard because he can get back. The Needlethorn Drake is a problem. Both of these Needlethorn Drakes actually are problems. He might just curate though, just to draw some cards, but I think we just want to get rid of first Needlethorn Drake. So it's probably just a Needlethorn Drake here, and I don't mind. Ooh, Okay, Overgrown Arch. Might just Essence Infusion here and get in for 4. And then once this trades for the Needlethorn Drake, I can at least load up the counters onto another creature. Actually doesn't seem that bad. And I think I want to load it onto an Arrogant Poet, right? Since it can fly over. Opponent's still attacking. I guess he's just going to play the Needlethorn Drake, but missing land drops in the Quandrix deck is definitely not where you want to be. So I just definitely want to play the Arrogant Poet since it's my target for putting the counters onto the combat. Attack for 4. So this is really nice. And then, yep, Arrogant Eager First Year is also fine. And if he attacks with 2-2, I might just trade for this forest, honestly. Probably playing the Eureka Moment end of turn. Don't know if I want to fly over. Probably will fly over because there's a chance he could just always block and waste my time. Eliminate. Eliminate's also not bad, so when he uses the Eureka Moment, I can eliminate the Overgrown Arch. Yeah, let's just move to combat here. Yeah, I'll offer the Eager First Year. He does lose a land for doing this. Or maybe it's fine still playing out the flyer. I'm hoping he actually like uses the Eureka Moment here so I can take out the Overgrown Arch. If not, I'll just play the Allen Shield Mage and hopefully I can fly over and kill him in 2 more turns. Since he can always gain life here up to 10, and then he can just Eureka Moment here to ramp. And misses a land, wow. Top decks the land. So 5 lands, still a long way to go towards Bookworm. He needs some removal to deal with a 6/5 flying threat. Might just be a Burying Books, which can be pretty annoying as well. Multiple choice, I guess we're bouncing Eager First Year. I mean, that's fine. Probably wants to find a land to cast next turn. We can hit him for 9, closing. We can also just Closing Statement on the turn and eliminate. Eliminate is not necessarily the worst. You know what, let's just eliminate this 0/4 wall before it becomes a nuisance, and having him learn, and then I can just play the Eager First Year and attack for 9. And I'm fine paying the 9 the life here, and then Eager First Year is pretty good, and I can cast Closing Statement on a potential reach creature or flyer that's in the way. Yeah, I think he's dead here because he still needs to pay the ward to deal with the Allen Shield Mage. Yep. Just missed too many land drops. You know what you want to do against a Silverquill deck, and I've definitely had a lot of games where this has happened to me. So alright, we're pretty close to Mythic. Just need to get a couple more wins. And then after this, after I reach Mythic, I might just have to make another video to showcase my journey to top 10. Starting from Mythic. But overall, the first 2 drafts were still rough. So, as you can see, you don't necessarily end up, you know, having, like, an insane win rate to get to Mythic. You just need to have an above-average win rate. Sometimes you can even have poor drafts where you end up 0-3. And you can still get there. So, don't lose hope, guys. Always try to do your best. And here, we can just hunt for specimens into Promising Dusk Mage. Lash of Malice is nice. So just a nice early game hand with Silverquill. Killion. I'll get rid of an Arrogant Poets. It's fine by me. Could have also not killed it and then just play out the hunt for specimens. Actually, you know what? I think I like the Thunderous Orator here, even though it won't fly or anything. Since I want to put a counter onto my Promising Dust Mage, or at least put a counter onto the Thunderous Orator. Yeah, Killian is scary. Let's think here. Yeah, it's probably Guiding Voice and Hunt for Specimens, or at least the Promising Dusk Mage here. I can also Humiliate him, but I want to set the Humiliate counter onto the Promising Dusk Mage, maybe. Yeah, he's probably holding on to cheap interaction and removal, which kind of sucks, but I don't want to really go off my curve just to do it. Since I only have 1 white mana, I mean, by using the Guiding Voice, it makes it more likely that he just ends up using the removal spell, so maybe it's fine to just play out Promising Dust Mage and Humiliate next turn. But it's just so efficient here. I guess we can always Guiding Voice in the Promising Dust Mage later. Yeah, you know what? Let's actually Humiliate here. Might as well do that as might as well do it, and I still have a 3/3 Vigilance creature. It can't block Killian because it has Menace. But I think this is the more safer approach, since he could just use removal spell. He can use removal on this immediately the next following turn and blow up my double blocks, which can be kind of annoying, so I might as well snipe his hand if there's a removal spell ASAP. He's probably holding on to, like, I guess that there's a Study Break here. Spectre Fence isn't the worst for me to deal with. It is annoying though, but Study Break can also help him just grab like an Anatomy, so I think getting rid of Study Break is actually the correct choice here. And we'll attack for 3, he can then swing back for 2. So luckily no removal spell top deck. And then we're at least dealing 1 point of damage a turn against him. Alright, he's got Guiding Voice anyways. There you go, Killian. Intro isn't the worst either, but now the clock is going to be a little bit slower now. Ooh, we can double spell at least, so let's play the hunt. Do I reduce here? I don't have double white, so we'll just take the introduction and we'll play Arrogant Poet and now attack for 3. I can also just triple block this if I want to. He can cast a 3 mana introduction, but I still end up drawing a card, so it's actually not that bad. Pillar Drop Rescuer, Inkling Summoning. I think I like the Promising Dust Mage and putting a counter onto it. I can also put a counter onto the Arrogant Poet and also attack for 3, which also speeds up the clock a bit. Counter on Promising Dust Mage can get me a card though, but this actually speeds up the clock. Yeah, you know what? I don't mind Guiding Voice on the Arrogant Poet and then attacking with it. Seems okay. Let's grab another Inkling Summoning, and I don't think I'm gonna fly it, because I'm fine just trading for Killian here. Or the Spectre Fence, since it's also just a very annoying creature to deal with. This trade here is really good. I'm actually liking both of these trades, so that's a good sign. Let's play the Inkling Summoning. And he might just play an Allen Shield Mage to block us, which can be pretty annoying, but then hopefully I can just... Alright. Good news, Killian is gone. I can play a Promising Dust Mage, I guess, next turn, attack with it, and play Professor's Warning. Seems fine. And I can always just use Professor's Warning as the trade as well. So it's not the worst. I think I'm attacking with the Promising Dust Mage, and if he blocks, I put a counter onto it. If not, I can just play Pillar Drop Rescuer. I think this is fine. Getting nice value here, and Orator seems fine here, since I have enough flyers to give it flying, and I don't really want to pay 2 life just to give a creature flying. Introduction's a bit of a weird card in his hand too. Blood Mage is probably going to just give him a token. Actually fine attacking with both in the air. I'm hoping he doesn't have an instant to blow me out though, so that can be kind of crucial. Maybe I'm fine still attacking for all 3 of these using Professor's Warning. Not sure. Not sure if this is correct. I mean, if he has an instant here, that's going to be bad. But I still think I'd go for it. I'm fine using a counter to trade for the Allen Shield Mage. Please work. Game. If not, at least I trade for a spell. And I can get him for 4. And hopefully no life gain here. Yeah, it's probably going to blow me out, maybe beat me to 5 minutes. Okay. I mean, it's a 1-for-1, and I get it for 4 at least. It's not the worst, but it's also not great. Yeah, let's play the Silverquill Pledge Mage first, so then I can fly it over and offer to trade next turn. Shadewing Laureates. Closing Statement. I don't hate Closing Statement here. That way I can also put a counter onto the Promising Dusk Mage. Or just a 1-1 flyer. I think we just want to put on the flyer, right? I mean, Dusk Mage can still attack. Let's put on the flyer. And then he's going to trade for 1 of them, and I'm totally fine with that. Spectre Fence, I'm fine with that trade as well. If he goes for a double block, I still get him for 3. I'm not sure if I want to do it still though. Yeah, I'll just give it flying. And then fine attacking for 3 here. And then he might just take it because he could activate the ability next turn. The trade is also just nice, since I don't like him using the ability too much. Yeah, Introduction is a bit of a weird card at times. He can keep up the mana sink with this, which is kind of annoying, so I might just have to do an all-out attack. He can put himself down to 4, he can block here, but then I can still kill him and get in for lethal. Although that's not a good sign. And he can bring back Killian. Darn it. Yeah, this is not looking great. The opponent is able to stabilize here. So I need something here. And that's not something. Yeah, this is just bad. Guess I just need to sit back and hope for the best. Study Break would get it here, so I just need to be careful not to make some bad attacks. Eager for a shear. So if I do an all-out attack, what happens? The 2-1 trades here, the 2-2 blocks here, Killian trades, I block here. So it's 4 blockers to my 2 creatures, but he gains 4 life, so it doesn't seem like a great attack. I think we just want to continue developing the board while we can, just to go. Hopefully we find like a Magecraft spell, but I guess there's also Spectre Fence that's going to drain us, which isn't great. So we need to either deal with the Spectre Fens or both of these flyers in order to win. I mean, if we deal with both these flyers, we still might not win, since we might not have enough power to close out, but we'll see. So he's at 8 life with the Drain and Killian, so we're not in a good spot here. Wow, even Mage Hunter's Onslaught, and he can still activate his life gain. Doesn't seem good. Eliminate on Killian could work. So if we eliminate on Killian, what happens? We attack with all. He has 3 blockers. He blocks 2 power. It's still not great, so he's gonna block here, block trade here. And then, okay, so if we kill Killian with eliminates, he's gonna block here, since this is gonna get the Magecraft trigger. He's gonna block here and then maybe trade here. and then we can get him for 4, put him down to 2. I don't know if that's worth it still. Maybe I just need to send in a couple of attackers to make this happen. I don't actually mind just moving to combat here, attempting to send Eager first here, which a 2/1 is going to trade with. Star people. Maybe I do just send in all. Well, if we send them all, he's going to be at 6 life. This trades here. This will probably block here or here. This trades here. I get him down to 2. I can put a 1/1 counter onto the Promising Dust Mage. I think I can still go for it here. He can still drain me, go to 6 here. It makes pretty good blocks, but I still think this is the best line that we have. Since the Star People can still put a counter onto the Promising Dust Mage, which could be quite effective. Okay. Guess the opponent can still fall down to 1, which isn't great for me. Okay. And he still has 2 blockers up. This is not good. Darn it. Yeah, he's gonna play it safe here. I actually like this trade a lot more. Okay. And I might just want to, yeah, I guess we'll say go. The opponent can drain me again. Put me down to 4, take 2. Still, so maybe I can still attack with all. He can block maybe like the 1/1. I can get him for 3. He's down to 1, so I think this was the turn to do so. Definitely a very close match. Opponent also has a pretty good deck. Humiliate is nice. And now we can make a 3-powered attacker. Introduction can go, and then if I put the counter here, what happens if he blocks a 1/1 and then drain me, he's down to 4. So I don't want to really distribute here. I think I want to put on the Promising Dust Mage since he's forced to chump it, so this makes sense. And I might want to attack Evolve since he's going to go up to 4. And I mean, if he does a value block here, he's going to go, he's going to die. If he only blocks a 1/1, so he's forced to jump here. So yep, this was the best play possible. And hopefully we can kill him next turn. And he doesn't top deck something crazy. Like Day of Judgment. Blood of the Sky could be fine because the tokens come in tapped. But Day of Judgment or like Crux of Fates would probably send me back a bit, but I still draw a card off the Promising Dust Mage. Could see it maybe a Study Break. Yeah, it's probably Study Break here. Wow, top deck fucking Study Break to win. I mean, he's gonna fall down to 1 at least. And he's still down to 1. I still have 3 attackers. He still needs 2 bodies. Hopefully no pest summoning. Okay, introduction isn't the worst. I still draw a card off of it. And that's why introduction isn't that great of a lesson. It's okay if you're it's definitely better if you're ahead, but pretty bad if you're behind since the opponent still ends up drawing a card. And I don't think it's something you want in the main deck. You want to prioritize as a lesson in the Silverquill deck since you have a ton of removal already. And Combat Professor was also nice here. Okay, let's just play land, play Combat Professor. And yep, good games. Does he have another Study Break? Sure. So don't prioritize Introduction to Annihilation. It's just not that great. Like, it's a fine one of maybe if you're like, if there's nothing else in the pack. But I wouldn't necessarily prioritize 2 of them. Because sometimes it is really nice to just be able to use Introduction to get big blocker out of the way and get them for lethal. But other times, you already have a lot of removal in the Silverquill deck. And you don't necessarily need a removal spell that's clunky at 5 mana and also gives the opponent value, so it's better just to kind of avoid it and just take a Pest Summoning or Inkling Summoning over it, or some other removal spell or card draw spell and whatever archetype you're playing. Alright, so one more game to hit the Mythic, and then once we hit Mythic, I'm going to start a new video and showcase my climb towards top 10 Mythic. And it should be too difficult since it's still early in the month. The earlier the month, the easier it is to get the top 10. This seems okay. No white mana, but hopefully we draw into it eventually. And as I say that, we get white mana, which is great. Okay, I might want to eliminate that. And I think I will, given that it's just going to generate too much value in this deck. And I can always start people and humiliate. Actually, no, I can't, because I need the extra white mana, so probably need to just Arrogant Poet and play the Star Pupil. Unless I get a Plains. Okay, so no Plains, so I definitely don't want to humiliate here. I want to play my 1-drop into 2-drop. And then say go. And then maybe we can humiliate the Elemental Summoning next turn. And I want to load up counters on the Star Pupils because if it dies, I can at least transmute them into the Arrogant Poets instead. That's a powerful bomb. Yeah, Gnarl Professor does not mess around. That is definitely a card I do not want to be seeing. This is going to be rough. So I can humiliate here and Essence Infusion. Although I guess I can load up counters onto the Star Pupil and attack with both, and then if he trades, then I can load up count. Yeah, this is actually not that bad. So what we can do is we can cast Humiliate here. Okay, Arcane Subtraction is annoying. Mage Duel is probably the worst thing because he can just yeah, Mage Duel is probably the worst thing because he can just fight my creatures, which isn't great. So I think Mage Duel can go. Put a counter on the Star Pupil, Essence Infusion on the Star Pupil, and then we can just attack with both and fly over with the Arrogant Poets. And if he blocks, I can move the counters around. If not, I still get to gain 4 and hit for 2. Next turn I can give this Vigilance attack as well, so that's also good. I guess he can make a 4/4. I can maybe load up counters onto my creature, not sure. Professor's Warning? Professor's Warning can give my Star Pupil indestructible. And then I guess I'd rather play the Combat Professor first and then keep up the Professor's Warning. Yeah, let's just put on the Arrogant Poet here, and I'm fine attacking with both. I'm fine trading here, and I'm fine loading up the counters onto the Combat Professor to block. Because if I put 4 counters here, it won't be able to block the Gnarl Professors. But if I put 4 counters here, this incentivizes an attack from the Gnarl Professor, so that's really good. Neothorn Drake, I can lash. Yeah, let's just lash here. Could also keep up the Professor's Warning, but just in case he has a fight spell, I'd rather just do this. That was probably the wrong option. You know what, I'm still going to attack here. That was probably the wrong option here. I should have given the Combat Professor Vigilance, but I mean, it's still lethal the next turn. I guess he can Arcane Subtraction, but there's still 3 power coming in, so he definitely needs something here to survive. I don't think an Arcane Subtraction is going to do it. So he needs a removal spell, but we have Professor's Warning to protect our Combat Professor. Yeah, he's just dead, I think, even if he swings all out. Mage Duel. Let's give it Indestructible. And that was probably the right move, attack dealing with this, because he's planning to use Arcane Subtraction on my Combat Professor. Good game. And I guess we're almost Mythic. Was that the final game to Mythic? We'll check. Alright, so are we Mythic ranking? Okay, awesome. Mythic ranking, okay. And what's our ranking here? Okay, let's see the number. Okay, wow, yeah. I guess we're number 33 Mythic. See, I told you guys all you really need to do to get the top 10 Mythic, guys, is play a lot. Make sure you just have an above average win rate. You don't necessarily need to win all of your games. You don't necessarily need to get to 7 wins all the time. Just do your best, basically, and then you get a high ranking at the beginning of the month. Because typically speaking, as a normal arena drafter, I don't necessarily get to top Mythic near the end of the season or the middle of the month. So in order to maximize your chances of just getting to show off your top 10 Mythic, just make sure you draft earlier during the month when it starts, so then you can show off to all your friends and say, hey, I was a top 10 Mythic. Yeah, as the months go by, I'll eventually lose this status and end up probably in the dumpster Mythic rankings. But for now, we're at 33. Let's keep climbing. And if we do get to 7 wins, we might even make it to top 20 Mythic. But yeah, top 33 Mythic. This is a good sign. So it shouldn't be too difficult getting the top 10 Mythic. And once I get the top 10 Mythic, I might even aim for top 5 Mythic. So just try to climb to Mythic as early as possible to get the highest ranking really quickly. Make sure you just try your best. Because as you saw in the beginning of this video, I got a 0-3 draft. The second one was only a 4-3, and I guess this one's still just a 5-1. So it's not necessarily always 7 wins or 6 wins or 5 wins. You can definitely have bad draft experiences. But the best suggestion, of course, is to just keep trying, try your best, don't give up, and don't lose hope. And I definitely think it's possible for anyone who is dedicated and excited about drafting and having fun doing drafts to make it to top 10 Mythic, or at least top 50 Mythic. I don't know, whatever your goals are. So we start out with 0-3 Quandrix, 4-3 Silverquill with a pack 1 pick 1 Spartan Regiment, and now 5-1 with a Silverquill deck with at least a better amount of removal than the last one. This hand doesn't look great. I mean, with black mana it could be fine, but I think this is a mulligan. I definitely need a creature to go along with this Essence Infusion. I need black mana right away to cast a Lash of Malice, and Silverquill Pledge Mage I think it's too slow, along with Allen Shield Mage, so I think it's a mulligan. This hand is not even as good as the first one, but I think I'm keeping this, and I think I'm bombing the Essence Infusion here, since the rest of these other spells are just too good. Hey, Unwilling Ingredients into Essence Infusion would have been great, but Guiding Voice is still fine. It allows me to have a 3-drop Inkling Summoning token. So that was a nice top deck, and I think we just go for it now. And we want to grab the Inkling Summoning, of course. But I've definitely seen opponents run away with games against me where they just turn 1 Inkling Unwilling Ingredient into Essence Infusion. It can be kind of gross. Because there was a set called Guilds of Ravnica a couple years ago, or 2 years ago, where like you can play Healer's Hawk on turn 1, which is a flying lifelinker, put a Maniacal Rage onto it, and they can just run away with games. Here, the Bearing Books denies me a draw step. I draw a crappy Unwilling Ingredients, but this is still really strong. Humiliate is nice. I mean, Humiliate in trading here is actually pretty nice. I don't mind it, and he probably doesn't want to trade an Imbram anyways. Regrowth is not bad. Solve the Equation. I guess he's playing Solve the Equation for, I think, a Approach of the Second Sun deck. Either way, if I take away the Scourge Colony, he can just regrowth it back. So I'm not even sure which one I want to grab here. It's kind of close, actually. They're both the same, because he's just going to get the other one back. Just in case, I think I'm just going to get back to Scourge Colony. And attack for 3, I'm fine offering to trade. And then we can maybe Closing Statement next turn by playing Unwilling Ingredient, end of turn Closing Statements to take out Imbram. This is a better card in the late game with the Quandrix deck, but definitely worse in the early game. So you want to play Keon, Dean of Substance on immediately, and then you want to play the luckily this is an instant speed, so I'm fine attacking for 3, and then end of turn we can use Closing Statement on this 3/3. And I'm fine putting this onto other Unwilling Ingredients or Arrogant Poets. Let's just use Closing Statement here. And what do we want to target here? Probably Arrogant Poets. Although maybe it's better to put it on the Unwilling Ingredients because he can easily grab back the Scourge Colony and replay it. Hopefully no counterspell. Wow, top deck fucking negate. Holy shit. So lucky. Really fucking lucky. Wow. Exactly what he needed. Jesus, off the top. I mean, it happens. What am I supposed to say? So now he can use the Regrowth to get back this Scourge Colony. I guess that's also a reasonable blocker. Might just attack with both here, and then I guess Humiliate is nice, getting rid of either Bookworm or the Regrowth. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I guess we have to Humiliate here because there's nothing else I want to grab. So let's Humiliate. Definitely don't want to. Yeah, let's get rid of this Regrowth. And then I think I want to put a counter onto the Arrogant Poet. And I'm fine again attacking with both. I can also attack with the Unwilling Ingredient too, since it also trades for the Bibliotech Assistant, and I'm fine not paying the life. Fine trading here. Surprised he decided to trade on the Arrogant Poet and not the 3/2 that really has flying. Burying Books is annoying, so I probably don't even want to attack into this. Probably just want to attack with the Unwilling Ingredient, and then I mean, at least it makes him use his mana. So is it really that bad trading this for Burying Books? Because he can just activate Imbraham end of turn and just draw a bunch of cards. So I think we actually attack here and make him use the Burying Books. And then we'll play an Allen Shield Mage to follow up, and then see if he wants to offer a trade and draw a bunch of cards, or if he just wants to take it here. But he's definitely missing his land drops at least. So he's probably planning on using Imbraham and trading, maybe? Let's go for it. Yeah, I think he needs to trade here, and he's going to use this to draw draw a card, but look at the top 2. Which isn't by any means bad or anything. Well, just a land. I guess he can still play the Mage Hunter. But I have Menace at least, and we'll say go. So he's probably going to he's probably planning to play the Mage Hunter here. I'm hoping I can squeeze as much damage. Ooh, Solve. Could be Approach with the Second Sun or Crux of Fate. We'll see. Ooh, okay. I mean, that's okay. I mean, it helps him ramp. It also gives him a giant Fractal Summoning, I guess. Okay, Pest Summoning, that's not good. Mage Hunter's Onslaught. I don't think I'll ever cast a Mage Hunter's Onslaught on a Pest token, but we'll just say go. I guess he can cast both spells. I can Mage Hunter onto the Mage Hunter. And then attack with the Unwilling Ingredient, I think. Or what I can do is I can just attack with the Unwilling Ingredients, and then if he double blocks, I can trade for the 1/1 token. Actually, let's just Mage Hunter here. And then that way I can still make the opponent lose a life. I don't think I want to use Lash on a 1/1 Pest, or do I? I don't know, I think trading for this could be fine. Wow, it takes it? Okay, sure. So hopefully no giant Bookworm out of nowhere or Liliana. As I say that, there's a Leyline Invocation that appears out of nowhere, so I probably want to use this 1/1 token to chump the 8/8. Promising Dusk Mage, sure. So probably going to chump the 8/8 and then draw a card in the turn, then hopefully fly over with a creature and kill him. But the opponent did stabilize pretty well against me. Those Burying Books really came in handy for him. I guess the Mage Hunter wasn't a good play since he had an 8/8 to follow up, so definitely chump here. And then I need to look for something good. Probably has a removal spell for my 2/3. I guess that's fine. But this 8/8 is gonna bash down pretty hard, so I definitely need a flyer. And he has a freaking necrotic fumes to follow up, so this is not great for me. I guess I can eliminate the token at least. Clear Drop Rescuer is nice, but I think we just want to eliminate the 8/8, right? And then take it from there. Because I don't want him smashing me to death. And I think the Lash of Malice isn't better against like another annoying 2-drop that he might have, like a Leech Fanatic. Any 3-drops I can get back. I guess I can get back the Arrogant Poet to help me close out the game. This seems fine. Hopefully I can top deck a 2-drop. He's holding on priority of the Scry land. Okay, that isn't a bad card. Let's play the Pillar Drop Rescuer. Get back the Arrogant Poet. And then we can play the 1-drop Star Pupil and take it slow. So probably looking forward to exiling the Pillar Drop Warden. Rescuer, I mean. Okay, so he wants to draw lands first, sure. So probably not going to attack with a Star Pupil. Because I want to at least... Because making this into a 3-power creature doesn't reduce the clock. So this is fine. Combat Professor is nice. Alright, Combat Professor and Arrogant Poet seem really nice here, so let's play the Arrogant Poets. Wow, that was a really sweet top deck, not gonna lie. And then if he trades for the Quandrix Apprentice, I think I just want to put counters onto the Arrogant Poets. So then I can distribute the damage, and both of them can fly, so I want to put on the Arrogant Poet here, just to diversify a bit. And yeah, I guess he needs to upkeep Scry, find a removal spell. But yeah, this is the power of Silverquill. Like, we're playing all these cheap spells and they just have a ton of value, and they're still powerful in the late game. Whereas like some of these Quandrix decks might not have great cards in the early game. I mean, what am I talking about? Scourge Colony is still very good. Quandrix Apprentice obviously gets worse. But yeah, the Silverquill decks, some of their cards are still very relevant in the late game. And yeah, rank 25 Mythic, not bad. Are we going to get the top 10? Find out in the next video. So yeah, I think this is going to get to 7 wins, and I'm just going to end the video once I get to 7 wins here. And then show you guys that you should, again, if you're, just don't give up. I mean, if you have interest in drafting and continuing Limited and perfecting your skills in Limited in via drafting and playing Magic, just don't give up. Just even when it's really difficult, just getting up to Mythic top 10 on Arena isn't too hard. So just keep trying. That's all I have to say. And just try to do your best. Because really, it's if you do your best and you learn from your mistakes and you make better choices in Magic and in draft, of course, eventually, even if you don't necessarily get 7 wins all the time or even a high win rate all the time, you eventually hit some sort of learning curve where you basically will start getting slightly higher win rates, and that will just increase your ranking and get you to Mythic. So yeah, it's always exciting the first time you reach Mythic too, if you're a beginner drafter or someone who never has hit Mythic before. But I just need to inform you that, you know, it's going to take a little more work getting to top 10 Mythic, of course, if you're still a beginner. But if you keep trying, you'll eventually just get there, so don't lose hope. Always try to figure out the set's best archetypes, the set's best colors, the best commons in each color or color pairs. Find out the overperformers, find out the underperformers. Find out which cards are better to take first out of the pack. Find out which spells are the most flexible, but also strong in power level, or just take the cards that are not as flexible, but still has a bit of flexibility, but are still very powerful. Like for example, like closing statement versus, for example, closing statement versus Quandrix Pledge Mage. Both cards are very good, but I would still take closing statement since again removal is just a priority in limited, and you can still splash closing statement in a non-Silverquill deck. But anyways, yeah, well, I would love to humiliate exactly on turn 2, but putting it on a Promising Dust Mage is probably just better. Not sure though. I mean, we can turn 3 Promising Dust Mage and I guess double spell the following turn, so it doesn't seem that bad. And that way we can just have a creature to at least get value off with. As long as he doesn't take out the Promising Dust Mage, I should be happy. We'll see. Definitely not blocking an Eager First Year. Plarg, that's a good one. Thunderous Orator is also very nice. I could just put 2 counters onto this and attack. I could also... I mean, putting 2 counters onto this and attacking isn't bad. If I just humiliate, he can just double block. Yeah, let's just Essence Infusion this thing. Get it going right away. Otherwise, I guess I could have Thunderous Orator and humiliate and then put the 2 counters on it instead. But this is still fine, and he did miss his land drop, so this is decent. Now he can use Plarg to loot, and if he taps Plarg to loot, then he'll lose an extra blocker. In that case, I could now put a counter onto Thunderous Orator and attack with both next turn as well. But keep in mind, the Eager First Year can also play an instant, spell at instant speed and pump itself, so it's definitely important to check out his hand next turn to see what's up. Definitely no blocks here, no reason to block. And then we'll see what he has the following turn. Pilgrim, that's not bad. Pilgrim of the Ages is definitely not bad. But we're just going to take a look and humiliate here. And he can triple block the Dust Mage, so I definitely don't want to. Wow, Lorehold Command on turn 5 is pretty busted. Igneous Inspiration is also just really busted. Yeah, as much as I hate to say it, I don't really... Lorehold Command might just be the more scarier card. Like, Igneous Inspiration does take out my Thunderous Orator, but it's not like the Lorehold Command, which is just an insane 2-for-1. So I think the Lorehold Command can go here. And I think I want to put the counter on the Promising Dust Mage and just attack for 5. Because I don't mind losing the Thunderous Orator, and then we can play land and say go. I mean, I guess he can get back with Reconstruct History, which is also very annoying. So maybe, I don't know, but this hand was really scary for me to deal with, so... I'm hoping I can just kill him quickly and he just doesn't play a million removal spells and take me out. And there's a chance I can maybe get a Pillar Drop Warden to deal with this. Yeah, I knew that was coming. Intro to Annihilation at least draws me a card. Isn't the worst. Also fine with the attack. I mean, I also don't mind attacking back. I think this game is a race. Arrogant Poet isn't bad. We'll attack for 5. This is definitely a race. The funny thing is he can also use the Academic Dispute on defense by making his Lorehold Pledge Mage block it. I think he just wants to draw a card here and try to hit his land drops. It's not unreasonable. But yeah, we can definitely lose this if this opponent plays it correctly. So what he can do is he can play out the Lorehold Pledge Mage, and then I try to fly over the Arrogant Poets. He casts an Academic Dispute to block it. which isn't great, so the Lorehold Pledge Mage might actually just be the better play here. He can cast a Reconstruct History and eventually get back Lorehold Command, but it doesn't take out the 5/6. So yeah, I think I don't mind this here. Ooh, yeah, that's a bad. Expand Nami's pretty good here. I'm hoping he doesn't play it. I mean, he does get the free kill, but it's not as bad as the Lorehold Pledge Mage and the Academic Dispute offense. I guess I'm forced to chump at least, but at least I have a 5/6 blocker that can keep me alive. Yep. So he's actually giving me more time, if you think about it. If I can trigger Magecraft, that would also be awesome, but I think this Promising Dust Mage definitely needs to stay back as a blocker now. You get exiled, of course, which I'm fine with. And I might just take the hits just so I can draw, just so I can maybe smash back. I think I'm supposed to take it here. It's a lot of damage, but I still think I'm supposed to take it. Yeah, and I think he wants to keep Plarg back because he needs it back as a blocker against my 3/1. Well, I'm actually fine taking this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I guess he wants to keep Eager First Year back. I could trade, but again, I think I just need to get his life points low. Yeah, I think we take it here, and hopefully we get some good top decks. But right now we're just flooding a bit here, and it's not good. Hunt for specimens to fly over could be nice, into Inkling Summoning, and then we can also gain some life. So this is really nice here. Let's fly. And we want to grab, I guess, Inkling Summoning, and then give this lifelink an attack for 3. Yeah, just a good turn of events here. And then he's just dead in 2 more turns, which I'm not sure if it's good for me. Maybe it was better holding on to the Inkling Summoning because I could at least fly this over again, and I can at least chump and survive 1 more turn. But I still think gaining the 3 life is helpful here. So again, I don't get runned over. So he needs to use a Reconstruct History, find removal. But if I trigger Magecraft on Silverquill Pledge Mage, he's basically dead here. So we'll see. But a pretty sweet deck from the opponent. A much more controlling version of the Lorehold deck. It feels more mid-rangey since he does have some early creatures, but he has a lot of removal and interaction. Even a Reconstruct History to get everything back from his graveyard, so that's pretty sweet. Rip Apart with a good draw. Hoping he doesn't have another removal spell for my 2-powered creature. Might just chump this 4/3 to stay alive as well, since the damage can be kind of bad here. I can also maybe top deck removal, take out Plarg, then attack with both, so maybe I still take it for 1 more turn. And then again, if I top deck removal, take out Plarg, I can get in for lethal. Just need to hope he doesn't have any instant speed. This is a sign he has something though, like a Study Break. So I might just have to chump here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I think I might have to chump here because I feel like he could have a Study Break. So maybe I just slow down the clock here. He could also just be bluffing, but maybe it was a bluff, I don't know. But I still think this might be safer. Yeah, that was just a bluff because I could have gotten in for lethal. So I need a good top deck like Guiding Voice maybe, because he can just get back the Lorehold Command and both removal spells, and I'm going to be in trouble. He can bring back Rip Apart, which is a sorcery, and Lorehold Command to gain some life. So Guiding Voice can save me here, but that's going to be a pretty rough top deck. Yeah, Lorehold Command is just going to win the game. If I don't get anything, I'm just going to concede. Star people, fuck this game. Alright, let's just lick our wounds and try to win the next match. He was totally bluffing there. I shouldn't have blocked with the 1/1. But I was afraid that he had a pump spell. But he definitely cheesed me out there, so definitely shouldn't have blocked. Because I knew he had it was bad with me blocking because I knew he had a Reconstruct History to get everything back again. So I think the right choice was to just take it. Because I don't think there's any way in hell that we survive a reconstruct history, even if we do get that good chump block off. So that was definitely a bad play on my mistake. So hopefully I can get to 7 here, but I could have won that last game. So I also make mistakes. Even if you make it the top 10 mythic, you can make mistakes. So just realize we're all not perfect. We're not perfect beings. Right, this seems okay. Could use a 2-drop. Like that one. Like this one, I mean. Can answer something early, like a Quandrix Apprentice. Just having these early 2-drops in the Silverquill decks are just very important. Frost Trickster, that's fine. I don't even think I want to lash this yet. Taking 2 isn't that big of a deal. I think I'd rather just be mana efficient and play the Silverquill Pledge Mage. Next turn we can lash and eliminate if we want to. Dream Strix, that's a good one. That's a pretty good one. This is rough. So what can I do here? I guess I can just kill both creatures, and that's not bad. And just attack and then use Guiding Voice. I think that's just better than using Professor's Warning as a combat trick. Although I'll be tapped out of black mana, I think this is still worth it here. So we want to target the Dream Strike first, right? I could also attack and use Professor's Warning. Let's give it Lifelink. And I think we just want to eliminate here, right? And I probably just want to use Guiding Voice on, I don't know, Arrogant Poets. And let's play on the Pledge Mage since this already has flying built in. And we just want more summoning tokens, and we just want to cheese them out with the Silverquill deck. Yeah, it's just so crazy how the Silverquill just has so much good efficiency. Like, this being able to just kill a fractal summoning is so insane. And they also have their shock in the early game to deal with 2 toughness creatures. And now we also just have Professor's Warning to protect our creatures as well. Worst case scenario, he plays an Arcane Subtraction. Like, the best way to deal with this is just to have a bunch of Burying Books and just cast them. And hopefully they don't have too many flyers. Yup, there it is. I don't think I want to use Professor's Warning yet. I think I'm fine just attacking for 4 at a time and keeping the Professor's Warning just as a failsafe. Or just as a way to protect my creatures. Like, sure, it's a slower clock, but it's a lot more safe. Because he can just play removal all day and just kill all my threats, and my game plan is going to fail, but I can just win the game in the long run. I mean, I could still do it, though. How much damage is this? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, down to 5? That's actually not a bad idea. but he's also just going to gain life the following turn, so not sure if I want to do that. Ooh, I guess we can set it up next turn. That seems a lot better. And yeah, we can smash it for tons. So yeah, Silverquill is so dumb with these Pledge Mages. This is such a great 3-drop. If he plays a large creature, we can just onslaught. I mean, he's just dead if he doesn't play anything good here. Adventurer's Impulse can't find instances and sorceries, unfortunately. I can kill the Pledge Mage. I can keep up Professor's Warning. You could just Mage Duel and we can just protect our creature, and he's just dead. So yeah, one copy of Professor's Warning is always nice in these Silverquill decks. I'll never main that 2, but one is also nice, which allows me to like just survive. So no Mage Duel, so we can just onslaught this, and I guess we can also keep up Professor's Warning as well. Yeah, let's just Hunters this 2/2, or I can just, yeah, let's Hunter this 2/2, I think it's fine. And even if he has Indestructible Snakeskin Veil, I can just give Flying to all my creatures, and it's just game over. How much? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I guess one more damage is he's dead. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And it resolved pretty quickly, so I think I'm going to go for it here. And then before damage, I think I just want to put a counter onto the Arrogant Poet. And he should just be dead here. Welcome to Strixhaven Draft, where Silverquill just dominates the dumb formats for some reason. I mean, it doesn't dominate every single aspect of the format, Matt. It's definitely not an unbeatable archetype, but it has the highest win rate and overall probably the easiest to draft compared to the rest of the colors. But in this set, you should still stay open, because even if Witterbloom and Lorehold are like the worst archetypes, and if you're still even if they're the worst archetypes, if they're open, you can still have a really powerful deck that's close to a Silverquill deck. But if you have a busted, but if Silverquill is open, or I guess the Teamer Control deck is open, and you have all the busted cards, it's gonna be way better than a Witterbloom or a Lorehold deck that has all their great cards and everything. But that being said, yeah, we finally get to number 33 Mythic, so this was great. I don't think I need to save the deck since it's just an average Silverquill deck. Not too difficult to draft. In the last video, I already drafted a Silverquill deck, so... I mean, the last video was a Witterbloom deck with Harness Infinity. The one prior to that was just a straight-up broken Witterbloom deck with Removal and Sparring Regiment. But yeah, let's claim our prize. And then, yep, we finally got to top 33 Mythic. So yeah, I think it's time for us to celebrate, and we just need a couple more games to get to top 10 Mythic, and I'll make a part 4 video for reaching it. So let's crack our packs. I don't think I need to go over it. Let's just see how many gems I grab for my reward. Wow, so many gems. Yeah, you can definitely get a ton of value drafting Strixhaven, since unlike previous sets where there's only like 1 rare in each pack, Strixhaven typically has 2 or 3 rares, and then you can get the extra gems inside of boosters, so you can end up having like 20 or 40 gems once you collect the entire mystical archive and all the rares. So yeah, that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to make a part 4 video showcasing me hitting top 10 Mythic, and it shouldn't be too difficult at 33. I just need to win a couple of games, make sure I keep my win rate consistent, and then just try to do my best, just like I've stated when I hit Mythic with this draft video. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one. Bye.